Is Simplify e-commerce. The first hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by Davis Motorhome Marts.
From the top on down, here comes a 1-2 pitch. Red Sox win the World Series, and the best team in baseball wins it all in 2018.
The Tigers reclaim their crown by crushing Alabama.
Brady under center, victory formation, takes the snap, falls to an E, and that'll do it. The New England Patriots have won.
And Virginia with the all-time turnaround title.
We, the North, are now we, the champions. The Raptors, the 2019 NBA champs.
Now, here are your hosts for Sports 56 Middays, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Land out in the countryside, lay back and smell the sun, warm up the Georgia pie. Feels so good to be taking it easy. Why would I ever leave? 'Cause I know I got some good.
Welcome in, everybody. Good Tuesday morning to you. Time for Sports 56 Middays, back in studio today after a terrific time yesterday over at Cherokee Valley Golf Course in the North Mississippi FCA Golf Classic. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie, Austin Eldridge. We're in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40, celebrating the end of summer with the end of summer liquidation sales. Some great sales going on at Family Leisure. Of course, Sports 56 Middays is delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, the great folks at FedEx. Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to see how FedEx can help you start, grow, and efficiently manage your business. It's officially the Tuesday, August 27th, 2019 edition of the program. Coming up on the show today, of course, we'll continue the countdown to Ole Miss and Memphis this Saturday at Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium. Nick Suss will join us at 11 o'clock. He is the Ole Miss beat writer for the Jackson Clarion Ledger. At 12 o'clock in studio, as he is each and every Tuesday, Don Wade will get his thoughts on the game on Saturday, and among other things. 2.5 questions on the docket today. Humdinger's trivia as well. And we'll wrap it up as we do every day with one final thing. We'd love to hear from you. The First Bank phone lines are open at 360-8255. First Bank text line 67129. Or message us at Sports56WHBQ on Facebook, Periscope, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Many different ways to contact us. Many different ways to watch us. How are you this beautiful Tuesday morning?
I'm good. No complaints.
I thought it was supposed to
Life
rain.
is good.
I thought it was supposed to rain this morning, or did it? Maybe while I was
rained
sleeping.
overnight. I don't know what time I don't know what time it quit raining, but it did rain overnight at some point last night. So I know my car was wet when I left the house this morning. So I can confirm that it rained, or somebody played a really bad joke on me.
Well, right now it's not raining. Who knows what it'll do the rest of the day. I know Saturday the forecast is sunshine in the low 90s for the Tigers and the Rebels. And leading up to the game on Saturday, the question will be how many tickets will they be able to sell? And what is the interest from both camps? I would think in Memphis there's certainly a lot of interest, although the anticipation is on for Memphis Tigers basketball. But when the football team is expected to be back in the championship game of their conference, some people believe they'll be a favorite in every game. When the expectations are that high, you would think that the excitement would be there. For Ole Miss, it's trying to find their old ways, and I'm talking about several years ago when we know how well they played and had a lot of stars on that team. And then, of course, the downturn here in the last couple of years with the NCAA sanctions and a horrendous year last year, especially on the defensive end, the changes that were made with their coordinators, the hope for the future, good recruiting class, young players ready to step up. So you would think in that sense there would be some excitement from the Ole Miss fans. But according to Jeff Calkins from the Daily Memphian, the Ole Miss request for tickets for this game Just $3,250 was all they requested, which is about half of what they requested back in 2015, when, granted, it was a top 25 team with high expectations. And, of course, Memphis pulled off the upset 37-24. So this goes back to what we discussed yesterday. Maybe when it's all said and done, I will not be correct. It will not be a sellout. And I don't know if that would be a disappointment, but if that's not close to capacity, it certainly would be.
Yeah, and just because Ole Miss requested the 3,250 doesn't mean like that's the only Ole Miss fans. Obviously, Ole Miss fans will buy tickets from through Memphis, basically through the Liberty Bowl. I mean, that's not the only tickets they'll get their hands on. Little surprised that it was that low for what they requested as far as the school goes, but we'll see. I've said I think you probably end up with around 50,000 people there total, and maybe I'll even be on the high side.
The schools always ask the fan base to buy the tickets from them, right? Because it's more beneficial, obviously, for the school instead of going to Ticketron or going to the box office at the specific stadium, in this case, Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium. They always ask for that.
Well, for bowl games, they ask for that because that is the way they make money on the bowl game. For these regular season games, I don't know how much it matters buying it. I don't know how that all works as far as buying it through the school or not.
Right, and that was the point.
The buying it through the school for these, I think, mainly is the fact that gets your fans all in the same section.
Okay.
I mean, bowl games, that's how they make their money. They have to sell their tickets, otherwise they're out that money.
Yeah, see, the question I was going to get to now would be, if you're buying them from the school, as opposed to, let's say, StubHub or any type of online service, are you also paying that fee? Is it different? Is the price different if you're buying it straight from the school? Are you also having to pay that fee that you get that's tacked on to tickets?
I have no idea how it works as far as buying them through the school goes.
I think what we're going to end up having is a lot of people, as it normally is, walking up on Saturday morning and standing in big lines to get tickets. That's what I think will happen.
There's going to be a lot more than 3,300 Ole Miss fans there. I can tell you
No, that's not his point. But the point is that they only ask for that many, which is half of what they did in 2015. So I think it's a fair question. Now, you're a diehard, and that's great. Every fan base, every team, every school, every pro team needs diehard fans, and you are through thick and thin. And I applaud you for that. I am too with my teams. I'm always a fan, no matter how bad it gets. But it is a legitimate question if right now it's kind of a wait-and-see process for Ole Miss, that they're not legitimately excited, even though changes were made with the coordinators, because they still want to see what's there. And then, of course, you have the people that go on the message boards and they're on social media and they're just knocking Liberty Bowl Stadium and knocking the area that it's at and knocking the city of Memphis, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. The stadium is a fine venue. I'm not going to talk about the sightlines. It's a fine venue. The game's at 11 o'clock in the morning. Everything's fine. Nothing's going to happen, I don't think.
Paul texted, he said Ole Miss fans know what's coming and they don't want to see it.
100% inaccurate.
I think there is some accuracy. I think some fans, when you come in as the underdog to Memphis, are thinking like, when we're an underdog to Memphis, I don't really want to be there to see that.
Yeah, that's probably true for some, but not the majority.
I mean, I think there is not a whole lot of optimism for Ole Miss fans, and their thought is like, I don't really like the idea of going to watch us lose to Memphis again, and when they're the underdog and supposed to lose the game, that's their thought process. Yes, definitely some people will think that.
Well, let me ask Austin, and I'll open it up to our listeners, because Austin, I'm sure you have a lot of family, a lot of friends that are Ole Miss fans. Are they all diehards like you? Or are they also right now in a wait-and-see process to go ahead and kind of figure out what this team's going to be before they commit financially?
I'm the only Ole Miss fan in my family. My dad is a lifelong Tiger, actually.
Really?
My sister and brother were both State fans, and my sister went to Memphis, so she's kind of a de facto Memphis fan at this point as well.
You have Mississippi State fans, Memphis fans, and Ole Miss fans all in the same household.
Yes.
Not an extended family. In the damn household, it's all those.
Yeah, in that one house. And I root for Memphis outside of this one game every year because my dad has been a Tiger fan his whole life, back from the good old days of Memphis. And I don't know about I have a lot of Ole Miss friends. I mean, we're all kind of in the same boat. We are excited for the season. We finally have hope again. Like, we're off the sanctions. We have new coordinators. Like, this is the best outlook we've had since 2015.
Are they all going to the game? Are they all buying
a lot of them are?
Of
course, I can't because I have to work.
No, I
have to run the game out of the studio, but otherwise I'd be there. But yeah, a lot of them are going.
They are going
because it's a local game that they can go to.
360-8255 is the phone number, and you can text in at 67129. That's the First Bank phone lines, the First Bank phone line, First Bank text lines, and you can let us know if you are going to the game, what your interest in the game is, or you're just going to kick back and watch it on TV. And then, of course, a lot of people can't if they have DirecTV and Xfinity.
Yeah, what is the deal with that? You're a DirecTV guy, right?
Xfinity, you're good.
You're good. AT&T Uverse.
I must have missed the whole ABC being dropped from DirecTV thing.
So you haven't tuned into ABC.
I don't have DirecTV.
It's been
what do you have?
Over a month?
I had YouTube TV.
You millennials. What the hell's YouTube TV?
It's a cheaper option for me.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, there's ways you can go on the ESPN Watch app and watch the game there. There's probably other ways to stream. There's probably pirating going on that I don't know about. But if you're a regular Joe like me who has cable and you have DirecTV or, again, Uverse, AT&T Uverse, because they're connected, AT&T and DirecTV, then you're out of luck unless they strike some kind of last-minute deal here in the final few days. So you watch it. I think the next day they're going to replay it on maybe SEC Network. But then again, that's after the fact. I still don't think there's anything that compares to actually being at a sporting event. But I completely understand people who want to kick back, watch it on their big screen, pay cheap for food and drink at the store that they bring back into their living rooms to watch, or their den or their man caves or what have you. Not dealing with the crowds, not dealing with the concession stand prices, not dealing with traffic. But I still think, as a diehard sports fan, to be at the game, even if I wasn't in the media, my love for sports, I would want to be at a game every Saturday. And I think there's nothing like a college football game.
I love the atmosphere of going to the games. It's so much fun.
Somebody texted in and said, so you all are predicting a huge Memphis win.
No, I'm not predicting. Did you listen to the show yesterday? I said I will be surprised at all if at all this is a blowout either way. This is going to be a close game. This is going to be a very close game. I would be surprised, in fact, more on the lines of shocked, if you saw just somebody hammer the other. And if there was going to be that hammering, I think it would be Memphis, but I don't think it's going to happen. I will be really surprised when we talk about it on Monday if that's the case either way. I think we're going to get a very good game.
I think 14 is about the highest it would get on either side. 2 touchdowns is probably.
And I don't think we're going to get that.
And it might not even get that much.
I don't think so.
I've said all along I would take Ole Miss with the points, but I believe Memphis will win the game.
I truly believe this could come down to the wire. It is going to be fun.
And the line's actually coming down a little bit now. So my Ole Miss, if I was going to do the Ole Miss of the points, I would have done it back when it was at 6.5 at least.
But what is the reason, if you are not going to the game and you are a big Ole Miss fan or a big Memphis fan or a big college football fan? This is opening weekend. This is week 1, not the week 0 when we had the 2 games. What is your reasoning if you're not going? Now, if it's a financial thing, that's fine. Let us know. Is it that you are an Ole Miss fan, but as I said earlier, you're just going to wait it out and see where they are? Do you truly not want to go down to Liberty Bowl Stadium because you're afraid? I mean, come on, that's crazy. I've covered games since 1995 there. I've never seen an incident. I'm sure there has been a few, but I have never been one that has witnessed anything like that. I think it's 11 o'clock game, for goodness sakes. Are you a Memphis fan that just rather kick it back at home? What's the reason if you're not going? But let us know if you're going as well. I would be very surprised if this thing isn't solidly toward 50,000. I really thought it would be a sellout. Maybe it still could be. But what I'm hearing is it doesn't sound like it will be, although I do believe there'll be a large walk-up. But if we're talking, 50,000 people, that's respectable. But if we got something like 40,000, I'd be really, really surprised about that. And a little disappointed, to be honest with you.
Our buddy Max texts in. He says, I'm going to the game Saturday, but I'm scared to death to go and be embarrassed and miserable. And I think there are some Ole Miss fans who could feel that way, and because of that aren't going to the game, don't want to go to the game. Somebody else says, have you seen our cheerleaders? Hell yeah, I'm going.
I mean, does anybody really?
I guess everybody's got to have their reasons, but if that's your reason, by all means, have fun.
Unless you're wearing the blue and red sunglasses or the blue and gray sunglasses, does anybody truly believe this is going to be a blowout, one way or the other? I don't see a blowout, and I know you can look at Ole Miss and their issues last year, but it's still an SEC team with SEC talent, and now very, very capable coordinators. Very capable coordinators.
Much better. The upgrade in the coordinator position is probably the biggest upgrade of Ole Miss for this season.
Without question.
I mean,
without question.
Nothing. No offense, Phil Longo, but what they did offensively last year was a joke with the talent they had.
Now, who do I believe has the better coach? I certainly believe Mike Norvell is the better coach, the better head coach. And what do I think about the changes that Memphis made? They made an awful lot of changes also with their coaching staff. I really dig what Adam Fuller wants to do with this team. Offensively, they're going to be fine. Obviously, Mike has got his hands on all of that. So I like what they're doing. I do worry about all the changes on the offensive line. I do worry that the guys stepping up, Kenneth Gainwell, and all I've heard are glowing things about him in camp. But Kenneth Gainwell and Kylan Watkins and Tim Taylor and those guys that joined Patrick Taylor to be able to produce what Darrell Henderson and Tony Pollard produced. I do have concerns about that.
We had a caller that said he couldn't be on air, but he said he thinks the attendance could be affected by the heat as well.
Well, there will be a lot of people who will wait. And we'll wait and see exactly what the weather is because they don't want to go out there and sit in the sun and 90 degrees for 4 hours. I mean, there's no doubt if it is hot, but if it ends up being a little cooler, a little bit more comfortable, there will be some people that okay, I'm willing to go now. But there's no doubt there will be some people that will wait just to see exactly what the weather is going to be.
Yes, but we have this type of weather every single year for games. Some people certainly are affected. I would imagine the elderly certainly affected by heat and especially humidity. But what's the excuse? Because there's no excuses when you go to Alabama or Auburn or any of these other sites where it's certainly hot. And even at Tennessee, where the attendance has gone down a little bit and the play has certainly not been good, yet they still draw, even when they're bad, they draw 80,000. So people are coming out. It's really an excuse for the elderly, for the sickly, for little kids. If you have a little baby, you have to bring. I understand that completely. For everybody else, normal human beings, it's going to be a little bit hot. So what? Every day you're outside, it's hot in the summer. For goodness sakes, it's hot here from May until October. So I don't know if that's a great excuse, but again, if you're
generally people don't just go stand outside for 4 hours in the middle of the day, though.
Oh, come on!
And if you want to go out there and tailgate, now you're looking at about a 7-8 hour day in that heat. They don't want to do that.
Go to festivals. Go to anything that's outdoors. Go to concerts. Go to Shelby Farms. People are always outdoors. They're not going to stay inside and shut their door and lock it up for the whole summer just because it's hot. We adapt to whatever the weather is. And we're out on the golf course, for goodness sakes. We're out on the golf course yesterday for 4.5 hours. People can adapt to a football game, okay? There's ways. You wear a hat, for goodness sakes. You're going to be hot. There's nothing you can do about it. It's not all of a sudden going to be 65 degrees in August in Memphis. That's the way it is. So it's an excuse for some. It's a cop-out for others.
You heard it here, folks. If you are going to the game, Greg will come get you from your house and drag you to the game.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm telling you.
Quit with your weak excuses.
I'm telling you why.
Get to the game.
There are.
Bring a friend.
There are poor excuses. No, I'm not saying, look, you can't afford it, don't go. You rather kick it at home because of the luxury of sitting there watching your big screen and cheaper food and drink. Stay at home. That's fine. If you feel like you're going to get sick out there in the heat, don't go. I'm just saying, but everybody else who's a huge football fan, and especially of either one of these teams, and wants to use that as a cop-out excuse, that's all it is. Let's go to the phone lines, 901-360-8255. You can also text in at 67129. Stan is dialed in. Hi, Stan.
Hey, how y'all guys doing?
Good, thank you.
Good. I just want to say, of course, I'm a diehard Ole Miss fan, and I've got my tickets ready to go. I actually called yesterday the Ole Miss ticket office, and I know y'all were talking about how small of allotment it was, but they have at least sold all of them. They said they had sold all their allotments, and so I had to go online, and I got tickets in the Ole Miss section of what they told me where it was. So I'm anxious to see how Ole Miss looks. I mean, I'm excited about the two coordinators, like y'all were saying. I can't imagine any true Ole Miss fan being afraid to play Memphis. I can't imagine that.
No, I don't think that. I don't think that's possible. Now, what do you think? What do you think you guys will bring total? You think I thought 10,000 was not too much to ask for.
Oh, I think it'll be 10,000 fairly easy. Honestly, I really do. I mean, there are a lot of Ole Miss alums in Memphis alone, and plus the fans that can come up from North Mississippi very easily. And I just think they will. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think they'll bring at least 9,000 or 10,000. I know I'll be there, and like I said, I think Ole Miss got an excellent chance to win. We may not. I'm not trying to bring Memphis down. I think they're a little bit on their high horse. I mean, they were mauled by Tulane last year. Come on, and and like they said in the paper yesterday, Norvell's signature win has basically been a win over a 6 or 7 UCLA team. So come on, I mean, let's stop let's put the brakes on that 12-0 going to Cotton Bowl. I think that's a little bit absurd, frankly. But anyway, I think Ole Miss is going to play well. Memphis may beat us, but they got to prove it on the field. And I'm like you, Greg. I think it's going to be very close.
Hey,
I
Stan,
think it's going to come down to the end. I really do.
Enjoy the game, Stan. Thanks for listening. Really appreciate it.
Thanks. Y'all have a good one. Hotty toddy.
You too.
Couple of texts here on the First Bank text line that we'll get to after the break, with people with various reasons why they aren't or would not go to the game.
Let me ask you this too, as
somebody with a very good point.
Let me ask you this, and we'll talk about it after the break. Do you feel the normal buzz for the opening weekend for these two teams, for again what we call a regional rivalry? Is the buzz there? We'll discuss when we return. This is Middays, just getting underway on a Tuesday on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
The Peter Edmiston Experience with C.J. Hurt. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. Only on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Today, business happens here, and virtually anywhere. Because today, innovative companies are reinventing the way business happens. And they need people who can keep up. With the expertise and technology to get packages to over 150 million delivery points. So, who can help you deliver the future of commerce? The United States Postal Service. See why we deliver more e-commerce packages to homes than anyone at USPS.com/future.
Your Memphis Tigers football team opens the 2019 season against regional rival Ole Miss Saturday, August 31st. And tickets are on sale now, starting at $55 each. Get your tickets today by visiting GoTigersGo.com or by calling 901-678-2331. Or Tiger fans can still grab a 3-game package or a season ticket. College football is finally back. Memphis versus Ole Miss, Saturday, August 31st at 11 a.m. at Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium. Sponsored by FedEx and ABC Local 24.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test driven, checked out from head to toe. Unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales. Gun enthusiasts in the Mid-South know all about guns and ammo at 3615 Summer and 577 Goodman Road, Suite 4 at the corner of Goodman and Elmore in South Haven, because they carry the largest selection of both guns and ammo in the area. They are authorized dealers of Colt, Benelli, CZ, Smith & Wesson, Glock, Ruger, Sig Sauer, Bergara, and a lot more. If you or someone you know is looking for something for self-defense, competition, hunting, or just something that goes boom, then get to Guns and Ammo, 3615 Summer in Memphis and 577 Goodman Road, Suite 4 at the corner of Goodman and Elmore in South Haven.
If you're the owner of a company and you're tired of a dirty office building, or maybe you're tired of dirty restrooms, or floors and carpets that are filthy, or windows that you can't even see through, I've got a solution. Let Trinity be your cleaning solution. Trinity Professional Services. They're putting professionalism back in cleaning. They specialize in stripping and waxing and buffing floors, in cleaning carpet. Just make it seem like it's spring outside. Window cleaning where you see through and everything shines. Commercial janitorial services specializing in final construction cleaning. Hey, the people that own this company, they are big construction people. They know what needs to be done. So if you would like it done the right way, call Todd Pope or Tommy Ferrari, the former Tiger quarterback, at 833-6773. 833-6773. It's Trinity. They're your cleaning solution.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. This hour is also brought to you by Davis Motor Home Mart. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Welcome back, everybody. 10:29 the time. Opening hour of the program. Talking a lot of Ole Miss and Memphis. Nick Suss is going to join us at 11 o'clock. Ole Miss beat writer for the Jackson Clarion Ledger. Then Don Wade at noon with the Daily Memphian. Well, guests all week leading up to the game on Saturday. And, of course, this Thursday, the Tiger Football Report returns with Tigers head coach Mike Norvell.
Some text here at 67129, the First Bank text line. Somebody says, people are sick of this long summer heat this year. Heat index is supposed to be 100 Saturday. I work outside, so I will be on the couch in the AC watching.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now, somebody else does combat the thing of the heat with a simple, 4 simple words. Cold beer cures hotness.
Helps out.
I like that motto. I like that.
And at Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium, at Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium, you can purchase beers as opposed to Vaught Hemingway, right? They haven't, have they decided, or there's still the whole resort status and all that stuff? So, yeah, that's a big difference between the two.
Not only does it cure hotness, it also makes you hotter in like a different sense of hot. Makes other people hotter to you. Somebody says 11 is too early. If it was 7 like it used to be, I'd be there.
Can you get the violins out, Austin, please? A little sound effect in the background.
Somebody else on that same theory says Nick Saban is constantly complaining about attendance at their early games. Somebody else says my wife works overnight at FedEx. Gets off, I guess, early Saturday. So we be too tired. We will watch on TV.
I can understand that. But, I mean, when you bring up like a Nick Saban or bring up an Alabama, what? Their attendance is down to what, 90,000? I mean, come on, it's ridiculous. 90, 95, Penn State, 100, Michigan, 100. They're still getting incredible crowds. Incredible crowds. I don't think it's too much to ask for that you get 50,000 people at Liberty Bowl Stadium on Saturday. Last year and the year before that, right, it was always and I'm not saying they're bad excuses or wimpy excuses, but it was always like the rain. Remember the rain? We'd always have those storms. We'd have the remnants of a hurricane. They lost attendance for that. So it's either heat, it's rain, it's remnants of a hurricane. For goodness sakes, wasn't it one year it was locusts, wasn't it? I mean, gosh.
But just out of curiosity, why does it matter to you so much how many fans are at Memphis football games?
I love going to a sporting event and seeing lots of people. There's nothing that makes me happier in life other than family and success with family members than going to sporting events and seeing other people enjoying it as much as I do. That's why I talk on the radio. That's why I do things on TV. That's the only thing I wanted to do in my entire life. I can't hammer a freaking nail in. I can't change my oil. All I can do is talk about sports, watch sports, cover sports. And so I love it when other people are enjoying it. That's why I love this show, because we converse with people who I would think love sports as well. I do understand people that can't go. For example, people talked about working FedEx overnight. I completely understand if people are sick or ill. I understand if they can't afford it. I get all that stuff. But there's nothing more exciting to me when it's a full house. When I would go to FedEx Forum, remember 1 versus 2, Tennessee, Memphis. Even this past season, last year, when Tennessee came, as they were nationally ranked, and Memphis certainly wasn't, and you just see a packed house. There's something about that that's so much more exciting than watching, unfortunately, the Tubby Smith era when there was 4,000 people at FedEx Forum, or when the Grizzlies play a big-time opponent or play a game that's important in their history, and the Grindhouse sells out. There's nothing like it as opposed to 6,000 when the Hawks come in and the Grizzlies aren't playing well. That's why.
Somebody says, why go and waste money? Game doesn't mean anything. Neither team will be playing for a national championship. Stay home and watch on TV and keep the money.
That's your prerogative. I mean, you certainly have that option.
Somebody else reminds that don't forget, if you have DirecTV, you can't see it in Memphis.
Right.
Somebody says you guys should be playing Crimea River during this segment.
Let me jump on the First Bank phone lines, and Jeff is dialed in. Hi, Jeff.
Yes, this is the reasons why Ole Miss fans are not going to the game. Okay? Number 1, they must change their oil and fluids to winterize their farm equipment to get ready for next year. Number 2, the annual Catfish and Hush Puppy Festival is in Pontotoc this year rather than Oxford. And number 3, the team and the fans are going to hold back all their players until they play in the Egg Bowl. With that, I'll let you guys discuss that. Thank you.
Jeff.
Oh, see, we should have this good humor about the game. Some good shots fired back and forth. I want to go to that. Did he say it was the catfish and Hush Puppy?
Did he say Pontotoc?
That's where it's going to be. Yeah, I'd like to get to that. Hope it's not
shots fired.
Hope that's not going on during the game. I'd like to get to that.
Shots fired by Jeff.
Pretty weak shots. He ran out of bullets pretty fast on that one.
Somebody says, if the game means nothing, why are you watching it on TV? Somebody else says, my group has 12 tickets. Most of us are in our mid-50s, and we will all be there. I also have friends that are Ole Miss fans coming in from Dallas. We'll be out there by 8 a.m. Go Tigers. Good. Have fun. Enjoy yourself. I like it.
If you're not going to the Ole Miss Memphis game for Memphis Tigers fans, I can't imagine what the attendance would be for the next week, which would be a home game against Southern.
Don't sleep on Southern.
With all due respect, this is the opening game of a new season with the anticipation very high.
Do you think for the Southern game, because it's such a great rivalry, that they'll change the name of Southern Avenue since Tiger fans won't want to drive down there to get to the Liberty Bowl?
Oh, they'll cover up all the street signs.
Call it Northern Avenue for the week.
Better not cover up the street signs. Tiger fans might get lost.
Man, oh man, look at you, Austin.
Somebody here says the folks...
That was just to come back at Jeff. That's all that was.
The folks around here are wimpy fans. Always have been. If you're able, get off your butts and go to the game, damn it. Thanks, Greg Gaston, for texting in. That's appreciate you doing that. You could have just said it.
Hang on, let me see if that's Greg's number.
You could have just said it. You didn't have to text it. I don't know why you did that. Somebody says, you think the defenses are that good? ? No, I think both defenses are probably bad.
That question mark he or she used in the text can be used here because the defense for Ole Miss, big question mark. You have Mike McIntyre taking over as DC. They can only go up, right? They were horrendous last year. For Memphis, I think the change in the coordinator, We'll see how Fuller's defense is different than Ball's defense. I think it'll be a little bit more attacking, a little bit more press coverage, things of that nature. I think they're deeper on defense. But Memphis, during the Mike Norvell era, and really during the Justin Fuente era as well, they've had moments. They've also had times where you just go, how the hell does that happen? They just miscommunication. Somebody's wide open. They convert on a big third down or a fourth down. So there's always been those lapses, but I think they're getting deeper. They have more players to get in and out to rotate them. So, yes, there's still questions because you have a whole new scheme, a new defensive coordinator, but you have a lot of the same players, whereas Ole Miss has some players back, but how good were those players? But how good is Mike McIntyre as a DC, and how good can they be in this first game? Maybe they'll be really good. Maybe that'll be a big turnaround for Ole Miss, because if Ole Miss can find something defensively, I think they'll be okay, because offensively I think they'll be good.
Yeah, I'm with both defenses, really. I'm just going in with the idea that they're probably average at best, probably bad, until I'm proven otherwise.
I told Greg this a few minutes ago. I did see yesterday. Of course, we don't know until they get on the field, but I like the size that Ole Miss has up front. I know Memphis has some good size on their offensive line as well, Greg was talking about, but the Ole Miss defensive line is really big. It's got some speed, and that's something they haven't had the last couple of years because of the lack of scholarship, so I'm hoping that'll help them out a little bit.
Yeah, I think the key in this game for the Tigers offensively, well, the obvious thing is the offensive line, but this goes to the offensive line as well. Patrick Taylor's more of a bruiser back, and because they're so big on the defensive line, Ole Miss is, and it's a new offensive line for Memphis, basically, it might be a little bit tougher to run up the middle. So Memphis is going to have to use that speed that we saw last year when they had Pollard and they had, Henderson was a bruiser and had good speed. But that's when you bring in guys like Gainwell and Watkins and Samuel, the transfer from Louisville, and other guys like that, and try to use the speed to get around that first line of defense of Ole Miss.
Another text here on the First Bank text line says, I'll be out there with a bunch of Rebels ready to watch Ole Miss win. Can't wait to see this new season for the Rebels. Hotty toddy. Somebody else just says it's a holiday weekend, which that does, some people will be going out of town. Families go out of town, other things on the holiday weekend. It does hurt attendance a little bit.
A lot of people go away for the big Labor Day weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Even when schools, like back where I'm from, school doesn't start till after Labor Day weekend. But schools are already in session, things of that nature. You get comfortable. Usually you take your vacations a little bit earlier, I think, in the South. Some people get away. But if you're thinking maybe some people even come visit Memphis or come to see family members in Memphis. So there could be an offset of people leaving and people coming to Memphis. So I don't know.
A lot of people use it as like the
last hurrah.
It's the end of summer. It's like our last. You go to Destin. A lot of people here go to Destin.
Yeah, I guess so.
I guess so. Yes, a lot of people go out of town for Labor Day weekend.
I keep forgetting it's on the holiday weekend too. I keep forgetting about that.
Yeah, it is weird because the game is actually in August. It's hard to
it's hard to catch that.
Then we go into the Labor Day right after that. But yeah, with the game being in August, it does sometimes you don't think of it being Labor Day weekend. Somebody says, I know of fans that have stopped getting football season tickets to splurge on basketball tickets.
Mm-hmm. That's possible as well.
But the Memphis football season tickets are close to an all-time high.
Say it again?
The Memphis football season tickets are close to an all-time high.
I think it is an all-time high.
So that if you're saying people stop getting football season tickets, it's not Memphis season tickets that are the problem. That would be a problem in this.
Probably the single game tickets are probably not as selling out as much.
I think you're going to be surprised come Saturday.
I wonder how much the difference is between the basketball season tickets as far as the cost between football and basketball.
Oh, gosh.
Probably a whole lot more.
A lot more.
I'm
trying to find, I got the media guide, the Tigers media guide, and I'm looking for if they have attendance for particular games.
So it says, do you think the gentleman who isn't going to the Memphis Ole Miss game because they're not playing for a championship commutes to Foxborough, Oakland, and Alabama to watch his bandwagon teams play? That's from Nico.
That's what you call a faux Miss fan right there. It's a fake one.
Good stuff. I like it. Let's see here.
I'm trying to find the attendance. 2015, when the Tigers won 37-24, was that the opening game of the season, or was that later in the season?
Later.
Do you know when?
I think it was by 5th or 6th game, if I remember correctly.
Was it about the 2015 game?
Yes. Curious what the weather was like.
Back-to-back years, I think they both played. I think both of those were mid-season, if I remember correctly.
I'm curious what the weather was like and what the attendance. Didn't they announce a sellout, if I'm not mistaken?
I'll have to look at the weather, but they announced 60,000, a little over 60,000.
So it was when the capacity was a little bit higher at Liberty Bowl Stadium.
And that was game number 7 because Ole Miss dropped to 5-2 after that.
So game 7 was in what, October?
That game was on
late October?
Yeah, it was October 15th, I believe.
So mid-October.
October 17th.
October 17th. Curious about the weather. And I'm curious about other opening games for Memphis over the years and what the attendance has been. Because, again, the weather is never going to change. It's always going to be hot and oppressive around this time. Now, if the humidity's down a little bit on Saturday, even if it's 90 degrees, that will be a saving grace. It's all about, well, mostly about the humidity.
The high that day was 66.
Oh, God. Well, that was perfect.
According to this.
Yeah, a little different between 66 and 90 degrees. I can understand that one. All right, we'll take a break. I want to tell you folks about our first hour sponsor, Davis Motor Home Mart. Can't thank them enough for being a part of our show each and every day. If you're in the market for a motorhome, and some of you may be thinking about that for your future, maybe right now you're thinking about a motorhome. I was going to say my son. My brother and his wife, they sold their house. They bought a motorhome. They drive around. They went back to my old stomping grounds in New Jersey this past week in that beautiful motorhome that they own. Got it all tricked out. Really, really nice. And you can get one, and you can get it any way you want it at Davis Motorhome Mart. They have variety. They have Winnebagos and Coachmans and Pumas and Highland Ridge motorhomes and Tiffin motorhomes. In fact, they're a top 10 Tiffin dealer in the entire United States. They have customers that come from all over the country, even come from Canada, to check out these beautiful motorhomes. Over 7.5 acres. Travel trailers, motorhomes, fifth wheels, and toy haulers. They got towable half tons, motorhomes from 27 feet up to 45 feet in length. They are a family-owned and operated business. They're located at 1145 East Brooks Road in Memphis. Go visit them or call them at 901-332-3414. When you do, tell them you heard it here on Sports 56 Middays, or check them out online at davismotorhome.com. Leave the stress at home, get away, travel to your favorite cities in a beautiful motorhome from Davis Motorhome Mart. We'll take a time out. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Sports 56 now has 2 FM homes. You can now find Real Sports Talk on 96.1 as well as 87.7 on your FM dial.
Today, business happens here, and virtually anywhere. Because today, innovative companies are reinventing the way business happens. And they need people who can keep up. With the expertise and technology to get packages to over 150 million delivery points. So, who can help you deliver the future of commerce? The United States Postal Service. See why we deliver more e-commerce packages to homes than anyone at USPS.com/future.
Tuesdays are the worst. They're all that stands between you and the downhill part of the week. But now they're a lot less worse, because Wing Tuesdays at B-Dubs are buy one, get one free traditional wings. So Monday, you may kick off the week. Wednesday, you may have a cool nickname. Thursday, you might be the almost weekend. But watch your back, because Tuesdays just officially became Wing Tuesdays. Buffalo Wild Wings. Roar! Buy one traditional wings order and get one of equal value free. Participation and promotional details vary by location. Check in with your favorite Buffalo Wild Wings to learn more about this offer.
You can't run a fly like DeAndre, but at least you can look as fly. Enter for a chance to win hundreds of prizes. Shop with DeAndre. I'll do everything. Design cleats for Saquon. Make me look fly. Have a draft party with Dion.
What's up, baby?
All you have to do is this. Step 1, sign up with the NFL Fantasy app. Step 2, draft your team and take a screenshot of your lineup. Step 3, follow NFL Fantasy on Twitter and share your screenshot using hashtag NFL Fantasy Sweepstakes. No purchase necessary. Ends 9/15. Rules and eligibility at fantasy.nfl.com/sweeps.
Dreaming of the coast? Wake up and run to Crab King Seafood. For the most flavored seafood and biggest plates, there's a Crab King's near you. Visit the Bartlett Cordova location at 7140 Stage Road or the East Memphis location at 5992 Knight Arnold Road. Top Memphis food reviews recently picked Crab King's as a winner in their top 10 category for 2019. Now you know what the King stands for in Crab King's. The price, the portions, the service is why Crab King's is #1. So don't dream of good seafood. Make the right choice the first time and every time. Make it Crab King's. Come and devour tasty snow crabs, king crabs, shrimp, salmon, catfish, calamari, and more. Enjoy Memphis's best tasting pasta with your choice of toppings. Visit the Bartlett Cordova location at 7140 Stage Road or the East Memphis location at 5992 Knight Arnold Road. Crab King's is open Tuesday to Sunday. Enjoy 50% off lunch portions and dollar fountain drinks and hang out with Crab King's for Friday night parties from 8 to 10. For more information, Google Crab King's Memphis or download the app for a free drink with every order. Crab King's, always a Memphis favorite.
Duncan Williams Investment Bankers presents Toby Keith at Live at the Garden this Saturday, August 31st at the beautiful Memphis Botanic Garden.
How do you like me now?
One night, Toby Keith, all the hits.
That was 1,452 beers ago.
With opening act High Valley. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. For more information, visit liveatthegarden.com. Doors open at 6:30. Show starts at 8:30. Also presented by FedEx, True Green, Infinity of Memphis, Regions Bank, Radiance, Pro Show, Mahaffey Tent, and PDR. That's Toby Keith at Live at the Garden this Saturday, August 31st at the Botanic Garden.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. This hour is also brought to you by Davis Motorhome Mart. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Urban Meyer, who's now with Fox Sports as an analyst, said Trevor Lawrence is the best college quarterback ever. What do you think?
Well, he clarified some of that though, that it was.
What he's saying is clarification.
I think he said what meant is. I think he said he is the best college quarterback now and could end up being the best ever or something like that.
Okay. That's a whole different. The statement though on the story I read yesterday was he called him the best college quarterback ever. I would think that's a little premature. Off to a great start, national championship under his belt, highly touted. The way Andrew Luck was highly touted coming out of college, that he would be the next Peyton Manning, if you will, out of Stanford. And there's been nobody like him. I mean, Rodgers, none of those guys. It's been Andrew Luck was like the chosen one coming out of school. You remember 2012 was just nuts about him. Do you think the same will be said about Trevor Lawrence when he comes out? That he's like that next guy, once in a generational quarterback? What do you think?
Yeah, most likely. I mean, especially depending on what kind of year he has this year. But, I mean, you got 2 more years to build the hype for him. So if he has 2 great years, wins a Heisman, maybe another championship, I mean, heck, theoretically, he could win the next 2 championships and have 3 years of college starting, 3 championships. But so part of it will depend. But I think, just with the skills and everything else that he has, I think there's people already believe that he is kind of that one of those guys.
This is always a fun topic, and it's always a hard question to answer. But USA Today is doing an NCAA basketball-type bracket to determine, via the votes of their viewers and readers, the greatest college football player ever. The greatest college football player ever. And it's always tough to compare eras. I do understand that. But it is pretty sensational when you look at this, if you've looked at it, the names that are in this bracket, and so many great names that probably could have been in the bracket. But I'll just give you an example. They have 4 regions, right, with 16 teams in each region, like the NCAA, kind of an NCAA tournament thing. And the Region 1, number 1, is Dick Butkus. The number 2 is Jim Brown. The Region 2, number 1, is Tony Dorsett. The number 2 is Archie Griffin. Number 2, 2-time Heisman winner. This is just what they did in college. Has nothing to do with what they did in the NFL. Region 3, number 1, Herschel Walker. Number 2, Bo Jackson. Wow.
Pretty good.
And Region 4, Orlando Pace, an offensive lineman. Number 1, Peyton Manning. Number 2. And I'm not going to go through all the names in here, but everybody that you can think of, but going back in time as well, is in this bracket. The greats from yesteryears, like Doc Blanchard at Army and Sammy Ball at TCU, Billy Cannon at LSU, Red Grange at Illinois. And then you have more contemporaries, although this is more like when I was a kid, Roger Staubach and Ernie Davis at Syracuse, and guys like Gale Sayers at Kansas. And then you look to a few more that are more 70s, guys like Earl Campbell, late 60s like O.J. Simpson, Lawrence Taylor, who played at North Carolina from 77 to 80. Then, of course, Walter Payton. You have the smaller schools, the FCS schools that are, especially the predominantly African-American schools, represented by a number of great players. Reggie White's on here as an 8 seed. Bo Jackson, I mentioned, was a 2 seed. Jerry Rice from Mississippi Valley, 7 seed. Better pro than college, and he was a hell of a college player. Randy White from Maryland, who was tremendous in the early 70s. Barry Sanders is a 3 seed. Mike Singletary, the former Express head coach. Baylor linebacker, 14 seed. Dave Remington. They got the Remington Award named after him. He's a 6 seed. Marcus Allen. What a great career at USC as a 4 seed. Deion Sanders. Kidding me? Florida State, a 5 seed. Almost impossible. This thing would drive me batty if I voted on this and tried to get down to a champion, or, as they proclaim, the greatest college football player ever. So if anybody has any thoughts on that, you can text in First Bank text line at 67129 who you believe the greatest college football player ever is.
Where's my boy Johnny, by the way, just out of curiosity?
Oh,
while you look at that, let's talk to Bob. What's up, Bob?
Yeah, I was calling. I'm not a fan, technically, of either school, but I'll definitely be going to the game. I grew up in Memphis, and that was always traditional, whether the game was here in Memphis or the game was in Oxford. I even remember going down to Jackson a couple of times to see the game. I mean, that's the way you started out the season. Both teams was 0-0. It's a fresh start kind of a deal.
Bob, let me ask you this: since you are not a fan of either team, would you like to see them continue to play?
Definitely. I think there's no reason to not play. Ross Bjork told me that it just made too much sense to not play each other. I mean, they were 45 miles apart. It's a bus ride for them. Saves money. It's a great rivalry, even despite what they say. It's a great rivalry, and the kids know each other because they grew up. A lot of them grew up in this area on both teams.
Okay.
And go ahead.
Well, no, go. You can finish.
But I was going to say, I'm impressed with what Matt Luke is doing in terms of hiring great coordinators, because that's what Dabo's did at Clemson to become a great coach. I don't think Dabo's necessarily a great coach, but somebody hires great coordinators, and it makes Dabo look to be a world beater, basically. I think.
No, I think you're right. I think you're right.
Well,
it's the age. It's the age of what they call a CEO coach.
Yeah.
If you have two great coordinators, it really makes you look good. And I think Dabo's great about closing the deal on recruiting and jumping up and down the sidelines, looking excited.
Thanks, Bob.
Well said, Bob. I think Bob's absolutely right, and that's why I credited Matt Luke. Here's a guy who could seriously be on the hot seat. Who knows? Could lose his job if they were really bad. And yet he understands the importance of elevating his football team. And how do you do that? Well, you get great talent, but you also bring in coaches who know what they're doing. And I'm not saying like the past didn't know what they're doing, but these are two guys who were coaches of the year in their respective conferences in years past. Rich Rod has done a lot of good things. Mike McIntyre's done a lot of good things. And you have these two guys now, and you're not afraid to have these guys in. You're not looking over your shoulder. So I applaud Matt Luke for these hires. You were asking about Johnny Football.
Somebody else texted and asked about where Tebow was.
Tebow, yeah, I was just looking up Tebow. Tebow's 11. That's a low seed. Tebow make a nice run in this thing. Charles Woodson a 5, Dan Marino a 12. I have not found Johnny Football.
Well, then the bracket's faulty and stupid.
You know what?
That's ridiculous.
I normally don't agree with you on just about anything. I think it's stupid. If he's not in there, I may be overlooking him. I'm trying to go here real quick. I know we're up against the break. I don't think he's in here. How can you not put him in there? John Hanna. I mean, all the greats. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't care how much of a flake he was off the field. He's one of the greatest players to ever play college football. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, Nick Suss covers the Ole Miss Rebels for the Jackson Clarion Ledger. We'll get his thoughts on the showdown Saturday in Memphis. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
When I shave with Harry's. A lot of guys buy disposable razors when they travel, but this summer, you don't have to sacrifice quality for price. Harry's delivers high-quality, travel-friendly shave supplies at a great low price, just $2 per cartridge. Join the 10 million who have tried Harry's. Get a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just use stats at harrys.com. Harry's cares about giving back. 1% of sales are donated to charitable organizations. This summer, Harry's has a special offer for listeners of this show. New customers get $5 off a trial set from Harry's with code STATS at harrys.com. That means you get a razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel, and travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping when you use code STATS at harrys.com. And when you run out, remember, Harry's replacement cartridges are just $2 each. And if you prefer to shop in store, Harry's razors are also available at Walmart and Target.
Tuesdays are the worst. They're all that stands between you and the downhill part of the week. But now they're a lot less worse, because Wing Tuesdays at B-Dubs are buy one, get one free traditional wings. So Monday, you may kick off the week. Wednesday, you may have a cool nickname. Thursday, you might be the almost weekend. But watch your back, because Tuesdays just officially became Wing Tuesdays. Buffalo Wild Wings. Roar!
Buy one traditional wings order and get one of equal value free. Participation and promotional details vary by location. Check in with your favorite Buffalo Wild Wings to learn more about this offer.
Today, business happens here, and virtually anywhere. Because today, innovative companies are reinventing the way business happens. And they need people who can keep up. With the expertise and technology to get packages to over 150 million delivery points. So, who can help you deliver the future of commerce? The United States Postal Service. See why we deliver more e-commerce packages to homes than anyone at USPS.com/future.
The NFL's best square off in the Ultimate Football Showdown. We'll be challenging the skills of these Pro Bowl All-Stars in competitions ranging from precision passing, best hands, gridiron gauntlet, the all-new 40-yard splash, to, yes, even dodgeball, because every quarterback who's been hit by a defensive lineman deserves a chance to settle the score. It's All-Stars at play at the 2019 Pro Bowl Skills Showdown, Thursday, January 24th, 9 p.m. on ESPN and Disney XD.
We should come to Sweetgrass for brunch every Sunday.
We do come to Sweetgrass for brunch every Sunday.
Right, well, we should keep doing this. These biscuits and gravy are the best I've ever had. I could have them for breakfast every day.
Look at these perfect poached eggs on top of crab cakes. Only a real chef would think of making this.
I'm almost to the point of making the turn. I've had everything on the Sweetgrass brunch menu, and I'm going to start back at the beginning.
It's important to have goals.
Why would we go anywhere else?
We don't go anywhere else. Last night, you refilled everyone's water.
Well, I just wanted to make sure they knew we were part of the Sweetgrass family.
Hey, Tiger fans, this is John Stacy of the Blue and Gray Show. You can hear Drew Barrett and I talk Tigers with Tigers every Sunday at 5 right here on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Drew, who do we got in the studio with us this week?
This week, we will recap the Ole Miss game and get you ready for Southern University. In studio with us will be Andre Woods, and of course, we'll have some surprise special guests.
Thanks, Drew. We'll be here Sunday on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. The Blue and Gray Show, where we talk Tigers with Tigers.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
We're caught in a trap.
Welcome back, everybody. 11:02 is the time. Second hour of the program. We got Humdinger's Trivia coming up in just a moment. Then Nick Suss will join us, Ole Miss beat writer for the Jackson Clarion Ledger. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie, Austin Eldridge with you on this Tuesday, August 27th, 2019. We're in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road. That's just north of I-40. And, of course, Sports 56 Middays delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, the great folks at FedEx. No matter what stage you're at in your business, there's room to grow online. Learn more at fedex.com/e-commerce.
It is time for our weekly Humdinger's Trivia, your opportunity to win a $25 gift card to Humdinger's to go enjoy some delicious food over there, healthy food as well. And, of course, with it being Tuesday, that means it's Taco Tuesday. You can go get $2 fish or chicken tacos over at Humdinger's. All kinds of great items on the menu over there. All the different grilled fish options that they have are absolutely amazing. And again, very, very healthy choices there. I love all of the different options, but the mahi-mahi is my go-to with the sauteed piri-piri mushrooms on top of that. They got a few different toppings that you can get on there. You can add a skewer of grilled shrimp as well. They got their crispy fish and chips as well. They got other options for you to choose from, of course, the chicken as well. It's all at Humdinger's at Poplar and Massey. You can go check them out, of course, every single day. And again, check out Tuesdays for Taco Tuesday at Humdinger's. Again, Poplar and Massey. Go by and check them out. And again, whoever answers our trivia question correctly first via text at 67129 on the First Bank text line will win the $25 gift certificate, gift card to Humdinger's. Here is today's question. Again, 67129 to answer it. And if you have never signed up for our text line, you do need to do that first. You can text 56JOIN to 67129. You'll get a little response back. Then it lets you know you're all signed up, and you can text us anytime or any of the shows here on Sports 56. But here's today's question. Again, 67129, the First Bank text line. Last time Ole Miss and Memphis played here in Memphis, of course, was that 2015 game. Memphis won the game 37-24. Who was the leading rusher in that game? Who was the leading rusher for either team? Who had the most rushing yards in that game individually? The last time Ole Miss and Memphis played here at the Liberty Bowl in Memphis. All right, 67129. Text the name in. First one to get it right gets the $25 gift card to Humdinger's.
I have a guess at this, but I'm not sure if it's right.
You're wrong.
I'm probably wrong.
I will tell you, you're wrong.
And ineligible. Let's continue the countdown to Ole Miss and Memphis Saturday at Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium as we are joined by the Ole Miss beat writer for the Jackson Clarion Ledger, Nick Suss. You can follow him on Twitter at Nick Suss. He joins us now on Sports 56 Middays. Nick, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well, y'all. Thanks for having me back.
Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. All right, so kind of give us the atmosphere surrounding Ole Miss fans and everybody as we get ready for this season opener, because that has been a topic of conversation now for a day and a half for us, yesterday's show and now a half of today's show, about ticket sales and what we can expect. Is there the excitement with Ole Miss knowing that you have the new coordinators? There's a lot of question marks, but they're certainly trying to bounce back from what was a terrible year last year. What's the atmosphere like?
I don't know if you guys subscribe to the same theory that I do, but I think excitement and fear are more or less the same emotion. And I think that Ole Miss fans are feeling both of those things. I think there's a lot of excitement. I think that most fans right now are really thinking that this is a team on the turnaround. Whether the turnaround and the rise are the same thing is yet to be seen, but this feels like a new era. I know there's not a new head coach, but there's a new quarterback, a new play caller, a new defensive scheme. Everything is new except the head coach. So I think there is a lot of excitement, but I also think that the sense among a large fraction of this fan base is this is the most important game of the year. I think it's either this one or the one next week against Arkansas. One of those two games will end up being the biggest game of the year. And I think Ole Miss fans are aware of that. So they want to see this game. They're excited for this game. I think a lot of Ole Miss fans are going to show up for this game. I was just writing about that before y'all called. But I also think that there is a sense of trepidation just because of how good Memphis's offense has been and how porous Ole Miss's defense has been. And, I mean, just in general, how weird the games at the Liberty Bowl have been between these two teams in the last 20 years or so.
Do you feel like you're talking about the reasons for excitement? I feel like the impression I've gotten is that the two coordinators are the biggest reason for the excitement. Because I know a lot of Ole Miss fans did not like the older coordinators, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Would you think that's kind of the main reason that they believe things could be different?
Well, first off, I don't know if I would agree with they were especially frustrated with the offense last year. There were some play calling concerns.
Yes,
but
the coordinator
they were still putting up
part
the coordinators in general, yes. I will say, I think that a lot of the excitement comes from that. I think that there are people who recognize Rich Rodriguez's pedigree and who recognize Mike McIntyre's pedigree. And I do think that there is a certain level of excitement from that. But I think that more of the excitement might just be coming from the investigations over, sanctions are over, the probation is over. Now they can just go back to focusing on football. You turn on the TV, and instead of people discussing what Ole Miss can't do, now people are discussing what Ole Miss can do. So I think that the coordinators are a huge factor. I think that you don't go out and hire Rich Rodriguez and you don't go out and hire Mike McIntyre if you're not intending to rally excitement and make a big splash. But I also think that, fans have just been so eager to compete for bowl games again and to recruit at full capacity again. And now that Ole Miss can do this, I think that's where a lot of the excitement is coming from.
But how much do we really know about this team? You guys are limited on how much you can watch them. As we just talked about, two new coordinators. You got a quarterback who got a little taste last year, but now he's your starting guy in Matt Corral. You lose a bunch of weapons on the offensive side. Memphis is not going to be able to look at tape of what to expect because there is none. So this first game, we're going to be seeing it for the first time. So what do you think we will see, Nick?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot like somebody jumping out at Inspector Clouseau and scaring him to keep him on his toes. There definitely is going to be an element of surprise with this Ole Miss team, but I can tell you what I think I know about this team. I think I know that this team is very confident in Matt Corral at quarterback. In his limited experience last year, he looked great. He completed 16 of his 22 passes. If you buy into the Pro Football Focus grades, he graded out higher than any SEC quarterback last year, not named Tua Tagovailoa. He's a good player. I think they're confident that even though he played limited reps last year, they can get more of the same from him. I think I'm confident that Ole Miss trusts his running game. Between Scotty Phillips coming back after last year nearly being a 1,000-yard rusher in 9 games, you sign a 5-star running back in Jerrion Ely, you sign a 3-star running back in Snoop Connor, you return a sophomore in Isaiah Woolard who played well as a second-string back last year. They're confident in their running game. At receiver, this team has always been able to recruit receivers. Even when they were on probation, they were going out and getting receivers. You lose A.J. Green, you lose DK Metcalf, you lose DeMarcus Lodge. You definitely don't have those guys anymore. But you have guys that a year or two from now people might be talking about as, oh, well, these guys aren't quite as good as A.J. Brown was, but they're doing his job, and they might end up playing on Sundays. Other than that, there's not much else that I know for certain. I'm pretty sure the pass rush will be better than it was last year with the switch to the 3-4. I'm pretty sure that the run defense can't be worse than it was last year, especially when it was coming to giving up big plays. But the offensive line might start 4 guys who have never started a game before if Alex Givens isn't healthy. The secondary is really only 3 deep at corner right now, and that's something that has to concern people. Safety, you're starting 3 JUCOs on the defense who have obviously never played a Division I snap before. There's going to be a lot of uncertainty. You're right about that.
And then on the defensive side, you did mention the pass rush, but if they are going to be better than last year, why? Is it just because of a better coordinator or the different scheme is better? Why would they be better?
That's the question that I've been trying to answer for a month now, because in theory, there's a difference between better and not worse. Mm-hmm. And I don't think they're going to be worse. I do think there's going to be an adjustment process, just because they've had an entire spring to learn the 3-4, and they had an entire fall to learn the 3-4, and they got summer workouts and all that stuff. But there's a difference between playing it in a game and playing it in practice. And with Memphis's downhill attack, I know you don't have Darrell Henderson anymore, but Patrick Taylor's still a pretty darn good running back. And with that downhill attack, it's going to be tough for this run defense that was so porous last year to overcome itself. But you're returning 8 players from last year. You have to imagine that these 8 players are at least a year better than they were, and if not, they haven't gotten worse, because the new scheme seems to benefit the run defense a little bit more, with having a nose tackle lead up blocks and having 2 linebackers in the middle instead of 1. You're kind of shoring up the middle of the field more than Ole Miss did last year. But all that said, Ole Miss fans are hoping it's not a meet the new boss, same as the old boss situation. Right. They hope that the defense can take a step forward, but with so many of the faces that were here last year coming back, are you shuffling deck chairs, or are you putting players in their primary position? That's going to be the thing that I think we get the best glimpse at in that Memphis game on Saturday.
Nick Suss joining us, Ole Miss beat writer for the Jackson Clarion Ledger. You can follow him on Twitter at Nick Suss. Yesterday, Mike Norvell at his weekly presser said that he would love to see this series continue. Right now, there's nothing on the schedule for the future. How does Matt Luke and the Ole Miss officials feel about it? And what do the fans think about a series continuing one year with the Memphis Tigers?
I think that Ole Miss in general likes playing this game because there is such a large Ole Miss alumni population in Memphis. And I think that getting to cater to that fan base is something Ole Miss likes doing. That said, I think the fans who are not part of the alumni base in Memphis don't necessarily like this game very much. I think there is a contingent of Ole Miss fans, and this isn't to speak for everybody, this is to speak for one contingent of fans, but that see this as, well, if you beat Memphis, good for you, you beat a group of 5 team, you gain nothing. If you lose to Memphis, well, you just lost to a group of 5 team. I think that there are some fans, and maybe that's not true. I personally think you gain quite a bit if you beat Memphis, because Memphis is probably the better team right now. But I think, speaking from purely the pragmatic perspective, there are fans who see this as Ole Miss has a lot more to lose than they have to gain from this series, especially if Ole Miss gets back to the heights it was once at 5-6 years ago. And I think that's why there's some trepidation from Ole Miss fans about wanting to continue this series. But yeah, from inside the athletic department, I understand why this is a series they like returning to.
Would those fans, the ones that don't really like it, would they prefer, I guess, that they play basically their one, Power 5 opponent that they have to do basically outside of non-conference, and then just play 3 home games against whoever?
Maybe. I think that's plausible. I don't know. Scheduling is such a tricky thing. I think you'll find some fans who support a 9-game SEC schedule. I think you'll find some fans who support an 8-game where you play some road games to try and make the brand more national. I think that some fans want 4 home games so they can get to go to the Grove as many times as they can in a year. Right. There are so many different attitudes towards scheduling, and I think that, you look down the line, Ole Miss is scheduling a diverse array of teams over the next couple of seasons. Memphis isn't on the list, but they are trying to play teams that maybe they haven't played, maybe the fans haven't seen. And I also think it's worth acknowledging that studies have shown that ticket sales go up when you play better teams.
Yeah.
So even if fans might say, hey, we want to win, we want to play some cupcakes, they might not show up for those cupcake games. So from the school's perspective, it might be better to play Memphis and have fans actually show up and risk a loss instead of playing another FCS team or another low-level group of 5 team to pad the win total, but maybe not pad the stadium attendance numbers.
Hey, Nick, out of curiosity, do you have any idea how season ticket sales are going for Ole Miss?
They are improving, but I think the game-by-game ticket sales are very dependent on this first game. I've heard that estimates for what's going to happen for the season opener, or the home opener rather, against Arkansas can widely vary up to 5,000 or 10,000 people, depending on a win or a loss on Saturday. And that's pure speculation. You can't know exactly who is going to show up. There's a difference between ticket sales and attendance, and they aren't necessarily connected by record. There's so much involved, whether it's the weather or the time of the game or how good your tailgating atmosphere was or any of that stuff. But yeah, I think that there's no denying that attendance is inextricably connected to success. Ticket sales are connected to excitement and convenience. So I think sales are probably up, but attendance is something that will very much depend on outcome.
And they certainly, the last thing they would want to do would be to start 0-2 with losses to Memphis and Arkansas, and then it would be very tough to get people to keep coming out.
There's almost no recovering from 0-2 this season.
Right.
You can recover from 0-1. I still see a path to a bowl game if Ole Miss starts 0-1, but 0-2 makes the math very, very difficult.
I am with you 100%. Yeah, that's the doomsday scenario, the 0-2 start. So as we leave you, what do you expect? And I understand there's so much uncertainty, but what do you think will happen on Saturday?
I think that averages say about 4 quarters will be played. Probably 4 quarters exactly, but there's a chance more. I'm not going to say fewer. Other than that, I really don't know. I understand both arguments of this. I think that the odds makers are expecting a bit of a shootout. The over-under total is set at 68, and I think that is a little ludicrous. I just don't see Ole Miss's brand new offense being able to. I mean, if Memphis is a 6-point favorite and the spread is 68, that means Memphis is expected to win 37-31. I don't see that being the case. I think this game is going to be a little more low scoring than some people maybe expect. Even with Ole Miss's defensive history, there's a new coordinator in Memphis too.
Right.
You're replacing Tony Pollard and Darrell Henderson in Memphis too. I think scoring might be down. It's going to be hot. It's going to be very sticky. Maybe it'll be a low-scoring game. I understand that Memphis is the favorite, and I think that's probably the good choice. But I think of this game as a toss-up.
He is Nick Suss, Ole Miss beat writer for the Jackson Clarion Ledger. You can follow him on Twitter at Nick Suss. Great stuff, Nick. Really appreciate it. Enjoy your trip here to Memphis and the game on Saturday.
All right. Thanks, y'all. I appreciate it.
Take care.
See, and I think I would lean towards the under because, as I said, I think just first games generally tend to be a little uglier.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when you are talking about two teams with the changes that the talent they've had to replace, and then the changes at the coordinator positions. But yeah, I mean, I think I pretty much agree with them. A close game and probably a little lower scoring than what they think.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like I said, for the first game between Florida and Miami, and I wasn't, splitting the atom here. A lot of mistakes are going to be made. You got a freshman quarterback in Miami with their situation with the offensive line, a young offensive line. So you had a lot of chances for mistakes, and a lot of mistakes were made. It's the only reason it didn't go over was because they couldn't convert. I mean, they were inside the 5, and Florida fumbled. They missed a field goal. It should have easily been an over. In this case, but that number was, 46 and a half. This number, what did he say, 68?
It's 67, 68.
Yeah, that's a lot of points. Yeah. So even though I think mistakes could lead to scores, I don't necessarily believe that they're always going to be touchdowns. There may be a bunch of field goals. There may be a lot of turnovers. So I would tend to go under. I never bet the unders. I don't like the bet. Well, I don't bet that much anyway, but I'm never betting the unders because to me, if you bet the under, you're like on the edge of your seat the whole game. Because any last-second touch and you end up losing, I'd rather bet the over and just go root for anything, root for chaos, as long as it's offense, as long as they're scoring. Pick sixes, kickoff returns for touchdown, bet the over, and my heart doesn't beat as rapidly, and I don't get the palpitations as I would betting the under.
Currently 68, and Memphis as a 5.5-point favorite.
So it's come down a little bit for Memphis. 6.5, I think, down to 5.5 now.
68, I feel like that's about right. That's like 35.
He just said
30.
He just said it's like 37-31. Right? It's exactly that. So that's what he said. He doesn't believe Ole Miss will score 31 points.
And I think Memphis will be hard to. I think both will be hard to score that many.
Yeah, I agree. I think this would tend to go under.
I think Ole Miss is going to have a good offense, but yeah, the first game I feel like they're still going to be finding it a little bit. So yeah, I feel like maybe 24-28 is more likely.
I mean, I don't think this kid's Trevor Lawrence, but I like Matt Corral. I just don't think he's going to come out there and he's slinging it all over the field. And I think it's probably going to play more to an under, in my opinion. All right.
We do have a winner in the Humdingers trivia. We will tell you the answer to the question when we come back. A lot of folks got it right. Folks were all over some people got it right like immediately. The folks were all over the Humdingers trivia question today.
All right, we'll take a break. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Listen online anywhere, anytime at sports56whbq.com.
Stop. Pick up your golf clubs. Head to my favorite place, Vantage Point Golf Center, 9580 Macon Road in Cordova. Open 7 days a week. Vantage Point Golf Center. They got it all. Top Tracer powered by Top Golf. Track your shots like the pros. You know exactly where you hit the ball. Have a beer, eat a sandwich, and relax. Over 50 grass spots and fully lit for nighttime. There are 18 holes of mini golf. It's fun for the whole family. Visit Vantage Point Golf Center. They've got it all. 1 mile west of Houston Levee.
For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farm All, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag Equipment can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, these tractors can tackle every chore on your to-do list. Call 662-890-3141 or stop in today to find a Case IH Farm All that's right for you.
Today, business happens here, and virtually anywhere. Because today, innovative companies are reinventing the way business happens. And they need people who can keep up, with the expertise and technology to get packages to over 150 million delivery points. So, who can help you deliver the future of commerce? The United States Postal Service. See why we deliver more e-commerce packages to homes than anyone at USPS.com/future.
Gun enthusiasts in the Mid-South know all about guns and ammo at 3615 Summer and 577 Goodman Road, Suite 4 at the corner of Goodman and Elmore in South Haven, because they carry the largest selection of both guns and ammo in the area. They are authorized dealers of Colt, Benelli, CZ, Smith & Wesson, Glock, Ruger, Sig Sauer, Bergara, and a lot more. If you or someone you know is looking for something for self-defense, competition, hunting, or just something that goes boom, then get to Guns and Ammo, 3615 Summer in Memphis and 577 Goodman Road, Suite 4 at the corner of Goodman and Elmore in South Haven.
If you're the owner of a company and you're tired of a dirty office building, or maybe you're tired of dirty restrooms, or floors and carpets that are filthy, or windows that you can't even see through, I've got a solution. Let Trinity be your cleaning solution. Trinity Professional Services. They're putting professionalism back in cleaning. They specialize in stripping and waxing and buffing floors, in cleaning carpet. Just make it seem like it's spring outside. Window cleaning where you see through and everything shines. Commercial janitorial services specializing in final construction cleaning. Hey, the people that own this company, they are big construction people. They know what needs to be done. So if you would like it done the right way, call Todd Pope or Tommy Ferrari, the former Tiger quarterback, at 833-6773. 833-6773. It's Trinity. They're your cleaning solution.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx.
Here once again
are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Let's do it.
Let me drop it on the one. It's the Fat Mac. Dope like an 8-ball. That's why people call me that.
So, Austin, Now you know the answer now because you already saw it. But what was your guess?
It was nowhere close. You were right.
Who was your guess?
I was going to go off the wall and pick one of the quarterbacks.
All right.
I was going to say either Chad Kelly or Paxton Lynch.
We did have some people that guessed Paxton Lynch as leading rusher. Now, Paxton Lynch in that game, you got to remember in college it's hard because the sacks come against you and all that stuff. So he had all of 3 yards rushing. He was not.
Yeah, I didn't think I was correct on either one, but I was like, I wonder if it's one of the just off the wall guess. Maybe
Chad Kelly had -2, so he
great. That was a great total.
He was not. There were many people who had more rush. Every player in the game.
He was the anti-leading rusher.
Did anybody guess Robert Kimdiche? I shouldn't laugh. That poor guy got knocked senseless. That was the biggest shock to me, and it was so early, and it changed the whole game. It was like, wow, their big stud defensive lineman came in as a fullback, and Memphis knocked him out of the game.
Do you know who was the leading rusher in the game?
I do not.
He was for Memphis. I will tell you that. It was the leading rusher for Ole Miss was Jalen Walton with 39 yards.
Yeah, Ole Miss did not run well in that game.
Kimdiche had 0 yards, which was
a fumble,
which was more than Chad Kelly.
He did. Chad Kelly had an excellent total in the wrong direction.
For Memphis, you had Sam Kraft with 20 yards. Dorland Dorcius, we had some people that came with Dorland Dorcius.
Good guess.
He had only 22 yards on 5 carries. Leading the way for Memphis with 17 carries for 76 yards was Jarvis Cooper.
Wow. Jarvis Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
Not to be confused with Jarvis Greer.
No, different guy.
My gosh.
Jarvis Cooper, who was highly thought of when they came in from
that tells
West
you, I don't
Memphis.
even remember Jarvis Cooper because you heard so much about Dorcius that year. I totally forgot about Jarvis Cooper.
And that was the game.
And Sam Kraft.
That game they featured Cooper, and he had 76 yards. He was the leading rusher. We had a lot of folks get that right. Whoever the one that was first has already been contacted, though. So if you were not contacted, you were not the first to get it right. But Jarvis Cooper was the leading rusher in the game the last time the two teams played in Memphis.
Rebels lead the all-time series 49-11 and 2 ties. So the last 3 meetings, 2014, Tigers lost 24-3 in Oxford. In 2015, that's the game we just talked about, Tigers winning 37-24 in Memphis. And then they followed that up the year after that, 2016, got drubbed pretty good in Mike Norvell's first year, 48-28 in Oxford. Did not play in 17 or 18, and now playing their final game of their current contract in 2019.
And probably the final game for a long time, at the very least, if not ever.
Yeah, we've gone back and forth a million times on that game and whether it should be played and what people think. And Mike Norvell saying yesterday he'd love to see that continue. And we just had Nick Suss say that Matt Luke and the Ole Miss administration would probably like it, but the fans that are not in Memphis that live here probably don't. They'd probably rather have another game in Oxford and party down at the Grove. I mean, I can understand that, but I'm not going to get back into that debate about regional games. But I think we've come to the agreement, right, that we would love to see 2 SEC teams on the Tiger schedule every year, 1 away, 1 home. I don't know if Mike Norvell would want 2, but he certainly said he'd like the Ole Miss series back.
And I do think what Nick said, I think is the attitude of a lot of the Ole Miss fans is literally just give me as many home games as possible so I could go to the Grove as many times as possible a year.
Right.
I think and also within that make them obviously they're winnable games, which allows us to make sure we get to a bowl game every year.
Well, look, all those things add up to the whole game day experience, to have a great place to party. And Memphis now has Tiger Lane, which is really nice. I understand the Grove is on its own island. I mean, there's nothing like the Grove. But what they've done to create Tiger Lane, they've created an atmosphere. That all plays into the game day experience, so people want to get out of their house and go to the stadium. Other things like entertainment. There's going to be some entertainment at all the home games for the Tigers. There's all kinds of things that now internet service in the stadium make it better? Concessions make them better? The ability to buy alcohol as opposed to some stadiums where you can't buy alcohol. And we've had that discussion with the SEC, some schools going to it, some schools not going to it. These are all things you have to figure out ways to enhance that game day experience, because it's so much easier, as we know, to stay at home, kick back, watch it on the big screen.
Well, and that the problem
your flat screen
Ole Miss deals with, and every team, Memphis does a little bit now too, but Ole Miss is that, yes, I mean, the people, again, they just want as many opportunities to go to the Grove, but a lot of those people, when they do play those home games against nobodies, some are just never going to go into the stadium. They're just going to stay in the Grove. And many others at halftime of the game will just vacate and go out to the Grove for the second half of the game because it's a blowout. So it's like they basically just want the Grove to be open for business.
Switching gears, Yahoo Sports writer Charles Robinson, good writer, has written a story about the Colts situation with Andrew Luck. And he's basically saying Colts season ticket holders are the ones who paid the money that helped Indianapolis give Andrew Luck his $24.8 million parting gift. Does team owner Jim Irsay owe them anything? Is it a fair question that season ticket holders deserve a refund if they want it, or a discount or something because of Andrew Luck's sudden retirement? And on the surface, you look at that and you kind of chuckle about it, or at least I do. And then you think about it a little bit more in depth and you go, well, is it buyer beware? Or is it we were sold a bad information, because they had known, according to reports now, for several days, the likelihood of his retirement. Now, it doesn't mean that the bulk of the season ticket holders, bought their season tickets in the last three days. That's not the case. But is there a legitimate argument that if you go in on something and you expect a certain product, and that product is hurt by something other than an injury, that you should be able to ask for your money back?
Well, the thing, I mean, there are some conspiracy theorists out there, I guess, and that that believe that like this has been known for quite a while, and that basically the Colts told Andrew Luck, don't announce anything in order to be able to sell more season tickets, and that's why then they give him the $24 million in the end. Is like, okay, if you'll just wait to announce it, we'll give you the $24 million without a problem. We just need you to wait to announce it.
I haven't heard that, by the way, and I don't believe that. I think they've known for a little bit, but that would be something.
If that were the case, if that were to come out, then absolutely they deserve something. The season certainly deserves something, whether it's a full refund or whatever. But otherwise, if this was just a decision by Andrew Luck, and the team never worked with him in any way to try and delay it, to do anything other than just he decided to do this and he announced it on his own time, basically, then I don't see what, I mean, there's always the chance when you buy season tickets that things could happen, because, I mean, what if he blew out a knee in the preseason and didn't play this year? I mean, it's the same thing. Like, when you're buying season tickets, there's a chance that the team ends up being different than what you thought it was going to be for whatever reason.
There's no question about that. And I don't know if there's some details when you sign your deal and I've never bought season tickets to anything, so I don't know. Well, no, I do. I'll take that back. I do have some season tickets, but I don't know if when you sign the commitment, I'm assuming you do, that there's some information that says, you're in, things can happen, and there's no refund. I don't know. I don't know what it says when you buy season tickets, but this is not
you are guaranteed nothing roster wise. I mean, that's the thing. Like you cannot, because I mean, they could people get traded, people get hurt. Like, you cannot be guaranteed anything roster-wise.
No, and I don't. That's why I said when I first look at this story, I chuckle. But then I think about it because this is not your ordinary Joe. This is the guy who is supposed to lead this team to a possible Super Bowl. So if you're buying season tickets for the first time and you bought them primarily because Andrew Luck was the quarterback, and now with Andrew Luck not the quarterback, nobody believes that this team has a chance to go to the Super Bowl. Now, maybe it's still a playoff team, maybe. So in that sense, because the guy walked away from the game, and who knows how long Andrew Luck in his mind thought about this. Maybe he's thought about it for the last couple of months, even if that conspiracy theory is just that, a conspiracy theory. Maybe Andrew Luck for the last couple of months was like, yeah, I probably am not going to play. Is it legitimate that fans go, wait a minute, we thought this was a Super Bowl team. Andrew Luck was the quarterback, and all of a sudden this guy, right before the start of the season, announces his retirement? Well, then we want our money back. We want to sell these season tickets back. I can guarantee you there's not a lot of people probably in that boat because the season ticket holders are usually the diehard fans, and they're with them through thick and thin. But there are some that certainly will. Then we had the guy from the Jaguars, right, the former Colt, who said he'd buy back the tickets because of people's dismay at what happened. I don't know if anybody will take him up on it. But it's not ludicrous. It's not crazy. But I think it's still a buyer beware situation. You know what you're buying. There's always the chance something can happen. But this is different than just a season-ending injury, even a trade. This is a guy who's going to lead that team and hopefully, for the Colts' sake, lead them to the Super Bowl, and he's retired. And now you're like, what? I'm paying for Jacoby Brissett?
Well, but in a way, though, it is a season-ending injury because a lot of people, when they bought the season tickets, knew Andrew Luck was hurt.
Yes, but he played last year and played well.
But they knew he was injured has been injured throughout this preseason.
Yes, but it wasn't supposed to be
it don't matter what it was supposed to be.
Debilitating career injury.
There was a chance he wasn't going to play.
There's always a chance. There's a chance somebody might die in a car accident going to practice.
But they knew he was injured, a lot of them, when they bought the season tickets.
But it wasn't an injury where they thought it would end his career. It was never brought up.
Worse.
But it was never. I'm telling you, nobody brought that up. It wasn't even in the conversation. All the NFL preview shows that you watched.
I didn't say it was. I'm just saying they did know he was hurt and not doing any. He wasn't practicing. He wasn't doing anything in the preseason when a lot of these people bought the tickets.
Again, but by that rationale, it's like it's a violent sport, so you know that a guy can lose his career any day out there. Is that what you're supposed to take into consideration?
I'm saying that this was a guy who, at the time, now some of them I don't know when they all bought him, but some of them I'm sure bought him at a time where he was sitting out. He wasn't even practicing.
Right. No,
because he was hurt. And he has a history of injuries.
But you think those fans, those season ticket holders, were privy to all the information that the doctors knew? Of course they didn't. They didn't know everything that was really going on. All they knew was he had some kind of calf injury, and yes, he's had a history of injuries, but there was not even an inkling out there.
Sports Time with Rollo and Stats. Every week.
That was not me. Sorry, guys.
What the hell? The voice of God right there. There was never an inkling of retirement. It wasn't even that was not even in the lexicon of NFL reporters and broadcasters and hosts, and nobody was talking about that. There's a possibility. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I don't think that they should be giving their money back, but it's an interesting topic, and it's not ludicrous. That's all I'm saying.
Somebody texted and said there is a theory that Luck was going to sue the organization, specifically the doctors, so they agreed to pay him the money. I've not seen that one. I've definitely seen the one that the team and him, the team kind of convinced him to delay the announcement so that they could make sure they sold more season tickets. Well, again, what happened, I don't know.
Well, what are they saying? What in that that conspiracy theory about the doctors that the person just texted in? What are they saying? Because a lot of these injuries have nothing to do with one another. I mean, he's gone through a lot of injuries. So is the calf connected to the? Is the calf bone connected to the? He had an ankle and then a calf, right? So What are they saying about the doctors in this conspiracy theory that he would sue them for? Like, what happened here?
I don't know. Again, I have no idea what. I have not seen anything on that one. Somebody else says he wasn't playing anyway. He's always hurt.
Well, he's been hurt a lot, but when he's played, and I went over the numbers yesterday on the show, he's been incredible. Incredible. Again, the first 6 years of his career, I'm trying to do this by memory, was that Dan Marino is the only one to have more touchdown passes in his first 6 years in the NFL. And I believe it was a couple of guys, Manning, Marino, that had more yards in their first 6 years. So, yes, he missed games. Even missing those games, he had those types of numbers.
Yeah, he's when he's been healthy, he's been good. He's been
great.
I mean, some of that is a little. Some of those records are a little skewed, and he will be passed by many guys going forward.
Because of the game that we play now?
The game has changed completely in passing, and frankly, guys used to not start their first year. Like it used to be in the old days, like you sat 2 or a couple of years before you got to play. Mm-hmm. Now guys are inserted many times week 1 of your rookie year.
Right.
And so your first 6 years, you get to play all of those games rather than 3 years worth of games. And you throw the ball probably... I mean, I would like to see just the pure numbers of like the number of passes he threw, even with missing those games, the number of passes thrown in his first 6 years versus the first 6 years of John Elway or somebody, even not even going that, not even going real far back, just like somebody like that, number of passes thrown, or other guys that first 6 years, the number of passes thrown.
Did Marino sit behind anybody in his first year? Did Manning?
No, I think Marino started right away.
I don't think he did either. I'm just trying to remember who he sat behind.
No, I think he started right away.
Oh, okay. So then it wouldn't.
I think Marino did.
Well, then you'd be wrong with what you just said, right? Didn't you say that Manning, the first 6, did Manning start right away too?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even understand your point then. You talked about, you said play.
I've said that there's a lot. Well, those are some rare guys, but a lot of guys did not start.
Oh no, right.
So the guys he's behind got to start right away.
Gotcha.
The guys he's passed did not.
Gotcha.
And he'll get passed by a bunch of guys now because they're all starting right away.
Yeah, but what?
Like Baker Mayfield will probably end up passing him in all those categories in the first 6 years.
Maybe because they're throwing the ball more. I understand what you're saying. Maybe like Mahomes didn't his first year, so he started his second year. But
I mean, Aaron Rodgers sat for 2 years. I mean, there's certainly some guys don't get those opportunity to start right away that other guys get.
That's a good point.
And the game, again, has completely changed. All passing numbers are going to be shattered in the next however many years probably because they're throwing the ball way more than they ever did.
They are, but you still got to be accurate.
And the rules have dictated that it's easier to throw the ball.
It's more, the rules favor the offense, but you still got to be accurate. You still got to put it on the numbers.
I'm not taking shots at your boy, Greg. You don't have to get all mad that I'm taking a shot at Andrew Luck. I said he's great. Don't come over the table at me.
No, I'm not getting mad. You said he was good. I said he was
great.
Those
are new laptops, Greg. Be careful.
I said he was great. That's why we got into this conversation. All right, folks, Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration for all your roofing and home repair needs. They are great, not good. They're great. Brandon McCullough is terrific. He's a local guy, went to Bolton High School, started this company from scratch. Locally owned and operated, right? You want to keep the money in the local economy when you certainly can. They got the big brands out there, the big names. This is a local company that does a great job. Call Brandon today if you're looking to replace your roof, fix your roof, or do work around the home. 901-438-5084. That's 901-438-5084 for Brandon McCullough. Tell him you heard it here on Sports 56 Middays. You can go online to newroofmemphis.com to find out more about them. That's the website. They offer financing with many different plans and options, including a 6, 12, or 18-month same-as-cash option. They'll work with your insurance company or out of pocket. And they do both residential and commercial roofing. So business owners, property managers out there, if you have a leak or any other roofing issue, call Brandon today. They'll come out and they'll do a free roof inspection. They're licensed, bonded, and insured, a member of the Better Business Bureau. You get a 5-year labor warranty on all roofs, and satisfaction is always guaranteed. Don't forget the $100 referral fee for all new roofs. So tell somebody about Pinnacle. They go with Pinnacle, and because you referred them, you're going to get $100. They do work around the home like carpentry work, exterior painting. They can install shingles, replace gutters, put up fencing and siding, rotten wood repair. Your one-stop shop for all your home repair needs, quality work at a very good price. It's Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration for all your roofing and home repair needs. Call Brandon McCullough today, 901-438-5084, or go online to newroofmemphis.com. We'll take a break. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet. Download our official Sports 56 app today.
Tuesdays are the worst. They're all that stands between you and the downhill part of the week. But now they're a lot less worse, because Wing Tuesdays at B-Dubs are buy one, get one free traditional wings. So Monday, you may kick off the week. Wednesday, you may have a cool nickname. Thursday, you might be the almost weekend. But watch your back, because Tuesdays just officially became Wing Tuesdays. Buffalo Wild Wings. Roar!
Buy one traditional wings order and get one of equal value free. Participation and promotional details vary by location. Check in with your favorite Buffalo Wild Wings to learn more about this offer.
Upon official review, the ruling on the field stands. First down.
We deliver jerseys, funny foam fingers, and everything you need to get ready for the game. But what you really get when FedEx knocks on your door is so much more.
FedEx Delivery.
Game day spirit. What we deliver by delivering.
If you've always thought, hey, I'd look pretty good in Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus thinks so, too. Lexus is offering you the Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Great offers on all 2019 models and special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2019 flagship LS500. Hey, you look pretty good there. Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event at Lexus of Memphis. Experience amazing.
At Jason's Deli, you can stuff yourself full of great deli food that's healthy, fresh, and best of all, it's not expensive. Jason's Deli is all about choice. Whether you're looking for a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the build-your-own selections, Jason's Deli has you covered. And they only use fresh, wholesome ingredients. Choose from the club and specialty sandwiches, paninis, wraps, soups, salads, pastas, and much more. I love the cleanliness in the restaurant, the hospitality, and of course the cost. They have a huge salad bar and great soups, including Southwest chicken chili, fire roasted tortilla, organic vegetable, tomato basil, and many, many more. And if you're planning an event, their catering department is fantastic and can handle any size party. Go check out Jason's Deli's 4 locations. On Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, that's my favorite, on Germantown Parkway in Cordova, at Poplar and Highland, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch.
Duncan Williams Investment Bankers presents Toby Keith at Live at the Garden this Saturday, August 31st at the beautiful Memphis Botanic Garden.
How do you like me now?
One night, Toby Keith, all the hits.
That was 1,452 beers ago.
With opening act High Valley. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. For more information, visit liveatthegarden.com. Doors open at 6:30. Show starts at 8:30. Also presented by FedEx, True Green, Infinity of Memphis, Regions Bank, Radiance, Pro Show, Mahaffey Tent, and PDR. That's Toby Keith at Live at the Garden this Saturday, August 31st at the Botanic Garden.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
So we have a smart listener out there on Dan Marino. Dan Marino did not start right away his rookie year. David Woodley was their quarterback. Marino ended up starting 9 games. So he replaced Woodley in that rookie year, but Woodley did start the year as the starting quarterback. And then Dan Marino
and I'm trying to remember
went on to start 16 games a year for every year for the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the next 9 years. He started all 16.
So that's what I was going to ask you. Were we at 16 games with Marino? We still weren't at 14. When did that change over?
I don't know.
From 14 to 16. So it was 16 throughout Marino's career. That vaunted 1983 quarterback class.
For instance, on that first 6 seasons thing, if he stays healthy, Dak Prescott will end up high in all of those numbers in the first 6 seasons. Dak Prescott's far from a great quarterback, but he was in there right away, and he's been playing ever since.
Well, Yes, some of those guys will. Not everybody will, because Marino put up some huge numbers. Marino was chucking the ball way more than anybody else was.
I didn't say he's going to be number one. I'm just saying he's going to be high on those lists.
Well,
he probably won't catch Andrew Luck, but he'll be among the higher guys up there, because he's just, if he stays healthy, he'll have played 6 seasons as a starting quarterback in his first 6 years.
Well, and you got to be good. I mean, Matthew Stafford's probably got some tremendous numbers, right? And I don't know if he started right away with Detroit, but he was in there pretty quickly, and he's going to put up big numbers. Any quarterback today who gets playing time and is consistently the starter and stays healthy is going to put up big numbers. I saw Dan Marino play at the old Meadowlands, played the Giants, and it was the first time that the old Marino running, it was a 2-minute offense to end the first half, I think it was. So they got 2-minute offense going. He runs down, he makes a big completion, runs down the field. They're on the far side of where I was. And Marino's doing the old, settle down thing, like I'm going to spike the ball. And he does that. He takes the snap, throws a pass. I think it was Clayton. It was Duper or Clayton. It was Clayton, I believe, who caught the touchdown. It was the old fake, I'm going to spike it to stop the clock, and he threw it in the end zone. I believe that was the first time that ever it happened with Marino. Became very famous for doing that, and then it started a trend a lot, and some guys did that after that. But, yeah, I was there for that. That was really, really cool. I remember that weather. It was so damn cold. So cold, so windy at the Meadowlands. December game, I think it was, like 86, 85, I don't know when it was. But that was really cool. Really cool.
Somebody texted in. They said Indy fans that bought season tickets just have to face the fact that they're out of luck.
Ouch. Connor,
they're going to get to see Chad Kelly. Quite frankly, when Chad
don't know that.
When Chad Kelly becomes the starting quarterback, season ticket sales will probably go up.
I think Chad Kelly will eventually become the starting quarterback, but right now, there's no guarantees with Chad Kelly on or off the field. There's no guarantees. According to
Unleash the swag.
Poor Jacoby Brissett's got to feel insulted. People want refunds rather than watch him play quarterback.
No, I think Jacoby Brissett could still lead this team to the playoffs. Possibly. They're not winning a Super Bowl. They could get into the playoffs because that offensive line is so good now, when it was so bad for years with Andrew Luck. It is really good, and they're going to protect Brissett. So Brissett, who has a good arm, as long as he's accurate, they got some weapons. I'm just saying there's a chance. Not for the Super Bowl, but to get to the postseason. My dreams are over. They've been shattered. So, it's a good thing I'm even at work this week. I should be crying at home in a fetal position, crying about my team, because that was not good news. Connor O'Gara, our buddy who comes on. What?
They weren't going to win the Super Bowl anyway.
No, I didn't think they were going to win it this year, but I think they had a chance to get to the Super Bowl in the next couple of years. Connor O'Gara, our buddy who comes on Mondays from SaturdayDownSouth.com, said, according to Vivid Seats, Georgia fans will represent 69% of the crowd at Vandy on Saturday night.
That does not surprise me.
Didn't the last time they played there, it was nothing but red? Like the pictures came out, it was basically red.
It doesn't surprise me either.
But when they played at Notre Dame, they had the majority of the crowd.
It doesn't surprise me whatsoever either. But my gosh, you're talking about 7 out of every 10 fans in Nashville, in that stadium, are Georgia fans.
I think now we want to talk about a game where the fans know what's coming and don't want to go.
Exactly.
It's that one.
If I'm a Vandy fan, do I really need to go watch that?
Who travels the best? What team, I wonder, travels the best, fan-wise? I mean, that's pretty awesome for Georgia.
You mean in the SEC?
No, in the country. Like, what fan base?
Iowa State.
For bowl games, they do.
They travel really well.
But I wonder what they do, like how many tickets they get at Iowa. How many, what's the percentage of Cyclones fans in that stadium for that game? I'm sure it's not 70%. You were talking about
Alabama, they got bandwagon fans everywhere. So.
Well, it depends.
You were talking about Georgia at Notre Dame.
It's the availability of the ticket. I mean, you have to be able to get it.
You can always get tickets. You can always buy them off of people. They're always for sale. That is not a problem. You can always get them. I don't know. Georgia's got to be way up there.
Yeah, there are a surprising amount of Georgia fans across the country and that travel. I don't know if it's because of Kirby or if they were doing that when Richt was there.
They're good now. They're really good.
They're really good now.
They're good, but one thing is traveling to places that are close in proximity. Another
going to Notre Dame is different.
Yeah, if you're like
Well,
Alabama, I saw a ton of Alabama fans at Ole Miss games. And, of course, we're talking about when Ole Miss beat them. They beat them twice. I went to Tuscaloosa, and I was in Oxford, the Katy Perry game, and you see a bunch of Alabama fans. But, I mean, first of all, they're great, and second of all, it's very, very close.
Yeah, that's not a long drive.
But, like, how many Georgia fans, how many Penn State fans, how many Ohio State fans are going to Texas when if they play the Longhorns, or going down to Florida to play the Gators? I'm talking about regular season games, because these are probably the top few. I mean, LSU, Alabama.
Part of it, like the Georgia Notre Dame thing, that was hadn't ever played there. They aren't ever probably going to play there again. So it becomes a bucket list trip. They all went to Chicago. They were all at they took over the Cubs game the night before, and then they all went to Notre Dame. I mean, it's more than
you make a trip out of it.
Yeah, it's okay. This is a bucket list opportunity. We're playing at Notre Dame, one of the great historic places of college football. We're never going to see our team play there again. Never seen them in the past. So this is one I want to go to, rather than, okay, we're going to Tennessee again. We go there. We've been there 50 times or whatever.
So I'm looking up. This is the first thing I saw. It says, I wrote, which college football teams travel the best? And again, I don't know where the stats are coming from, the numbers. I guess they can look at ticket sales and things of that nature. Here, it doesn't list in order, but it lists a bunch of names. Ready? South Carolina, Iowa, West Virginia, Mississippi State, Florida State, Arkansas, Oregon. That's just one list I'm looking at of traveling the best. No mention even of Auburn on this specific. Here's another one, though, that says LSU, Bama, Auburn, Georgia, Tennessee, Nebraska, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Texas, Oklahoma State, Florida State, and Washington. So it varies.
I mean, I think it depends on when those articles came out, how good the teams are. I mean, because the better your team is, the better you're going to travel.
And where those games are.
Yeah, exactly.
How good. I mean, the number one thing is how good are you at the time.
All right, Don Wade joins us next for The Dish. We'll continue the conversation on the Tigers and the Rebels. Got 2.5 questions coming up as well. Hour number 3 is on deck. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Family Leisure is celebrating the end of summer with the appropriately titled End of Summer Liquidation Sale. You can get pools for as low as $19.99, patio furniture starting at $12.99, and swim spas, they begin at $99.99. Don't forget to ask about fast installation, because there's still enough summer left to enjoy these deals during the End of Summer Liquidation Sale happening now at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test driven, checked out from head to toe, unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
Have you wanted to speak a new language, but you thought it'd be too hard or take too much time? Then go to Babbel.com, download the app, and try it for free. In just 15 minutes a day, you'll be on your way to speaking a new language in just a few weeks. And right now, you can try Babbel for free. Babbel starts out teaching you words and phrases by matching them with pictures. You won't believe how easy the interactive program is. Soon the sentences get a little bigger, and before you know it, you're having simulated conversations voiced by native speakers. And because Babbel is crafted by language experts and uses the spaced repetition method, in just 10 to 15 minutes a day, you'll be speaking the language of your choice with real confidence. With Babbel, you can speak a language. Just go to Babbel.com and start your first lesson in the language of your choice for free. Download the Babbel app or go to Babbel.com and try it for free. That's BABBEL.com.
You know, summer's going to be over before you know it.
Thank God.
Come on, before you know it, the kids will be focused on school.
You don't know my kids.
Not from lack of trying. And you'll think I should have taken more time to take the family to
Central Barbecue.
Exactly. Or you'll think I should have gotten Central Barbecue takeout more often and spent the evening playing board games with the kids.
Wow, you really don't have kids.
Plus, even though Central Barbecue is perfect food for the fall, there's something about Central Barbecue that's really special during the summer. And there's a location on summer.
Honest, I have plenty of Central Barbecue.
You can never have too much Central Barbecue.
It's just hard to make sure I won't run into you.
Yeah, well, what's that?
You already know you can listen to Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also keep up to date with everything going on by keeping up with Sports 56 on social media. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch for information on breaking news, chances to win prizes, and video of all the shows. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Stay in touch with Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 on social media. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays, presented by FedEx. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
All right, welcome back, everybody. 12:02 the time. Final hour for us today here on Sports 56 Middays. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie, Austin Eldridge. We are in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Celebrating the end of summer with the end of summer liquidation sale. Pools as low as $19.99. Patio furniture starting at just $12.99. Deals galore at Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. And Sports 56 Middays is delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, the great folks at FedEx. They can help provide global access for your business. Learn more at fedex.com/e-commerce. It's Tuesday. It is time for the dish. Don Wade joins us in studio from the Daily Memphian. You can follow him on Twitter at DWadeMEM. It's finally here, game week. You excited?
Sure, why not? Look, I'm excited. I'm more excited for the NFL for obvious reasons. I mean, I'm just being, really blunt here. I mean, college football's here. That's great, but I'm more excited for the NFL because I have high hopes.
Well, and you, I mean, with the idea of being a Chiefs fan in the AFC, you were, getting rid of Andrew Luck is not a bad thing for you.
Don't start.
Yeah, it was. I think the number was 10 or 10.5 for the Colts. So they were the fourth choice maybe to come out of the AFC to go to the Super Bowl. Let me say this. I completely side with Andrew Luck on his decision to do what's right for him. I think people have, to some extent, misread the booing of Andrew Luck.
I tried to talk about that yesterday a little bit. Go ahead.
I think it was a almost guttural reaction that was rooted in, we had a chance to not just go to the playoffs, but go to the Super Bowl, and now we're going to be 6-10.
That's exactly right. And I said any fan base in that same situation, you would have heard a chorus of boos. Nobody is knocking Andrew Luck. Well, there are actually some people that did, but most people understand, especially the players, understand where Andrew Luck is coming from.
You can't nuance booing,
right? But there was no question. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. Let's say this thing on Andrew Luck came down in June. Okay. 3 months pass or whatever. There's a game in September, and he's on the sideline. He's visiting with his. I bet you he gets a round of applause from the people instead of boos.
Absolutely.
But because of the shock value, when it happened, the timing, as you said, the aspirations of maybe getting to the Super Bowl, it all blended, and it just was kind of an ugly thing. But we move on.
Didn't the Chiefs? I guess the Chiefs ended his career, right? Did they knock him out of the playoffs last year? The Chiefs to beat the Colts.
Let me rewind. I think that's...
You're starting to instigate something between Wade and me? What's going on here?
Just saying. I'm just stating facts.
They've dealt us some blows in the playoffs, though, in the past when we had the better team.
The thing, though, somebody, I don't remember who this was, brought this up, but it is interesting to think about with Andrew Luck, because they're playing a preseason game, and he is there on the sideline. I wonder, Who is the person that would leak that to Adam Schefter at that time?
An agent?
But why? Like
an agent who knew
they
an
know
agent who knew,
it's
you know
not
what I mean?
going to be good,
right?
With him on the sideline. So why would anybody who knows Andrew Luck enough to know this
Well, you know what?
think this is a good time for me to leak this information and have it get out there while he's standing on the sideline at a preseason game?
Well, if you think about the way his injury situation was being reported leading up to that, I have to think that the reporter was probably nosing around, and at some point heard something from somebody that led him to believe that, wait a second, there might be more going on here. This, to me, didn't strike me as, it comes across as a lightning bolt when he puts that on Twitter, but I got a feeling it was something that for at least a little while was starting to simmer, and he, it wasn't a lightning bolt to him necessarily.
By the way, did the tweet happen simultaneously with the ticker ESPN? I don't know if they broke in the programming. Do you know how he broke the story? Was it on social media? See, if I'm ESPN, I'm like, what are you doing, Schefter? Don't break it on Twitter. Break it on our show.
Probably, I would guess simultaneously.
I'm sure that if he tweeted it, then they probably immediately had him on. They get
I know,
it out
but
there.
still,
Now everybody goes, wait, I got to tune to ESPN to figure out what's going on, and then he.
But they're also saying, Twitter. The founders of Twitter are like, look at that, man. They're breaking the story on Twitter. That's how important Twitter is. So go to Twitter for your breaking news. Make sure you're always on Twitter, and then you can get the meat and potato of the stories because we only have so many characters allowed.
Twitter got Woj his job, right?
Right.
That's where. It doesn't take a genius, but that's where news is broken now. It's on Twitter.
Yes, but if I'm ESPN and my guy has this breaking news and nobody else has this, I'm making sure he breaks it on one of my formats. He's going on. He's on the phone.
Woj does it all the time. Why would Schefter be any different?
Oh, I've always had a problem with that too.
They do it. They let it get out there on Twitter to make sure they're first, and so now everybody says, "Oh, ESPN has it. I got to watch ESPN to get the story."
I know, but Twitter's the one who makes it out like a bandit because everything is being broken on Twitter.
We're sitting here on Sports Talk Radio. When I got hired at the Commercial Appeal in 1998, there were no Commercial Appeal sports writers allowed to be on Sports Talk Radio,
right?
Because there was a fear you would accidentally break something there instead of in the newspaper. And now it's like, the newspaper, and I say this with all due respect, it's a rotary phone.
Right.
It's changed that much.
Well, there also is no more paranoia now because as soon as somebody if Woj breaks a story, then Shams got the story, then 6 other people have the story 1 second later, and I'm thinking, really, have they confirmed it, or are they just going off of what Woj had? We don't even know anymore. People are just throwing it out there. Who had it first? So who knows? That tweet came in 3 seconds before the other tweet. But I don't think there's any paranoia. The other thing we have is, how about all these networks where the guy who's mainly on CBS ends up like on Fox or something? Like they mix and match now broadcasters. It used to be where you had, remember the old, what was the Ron Burgundy movie? Anchorman, where they had the fights between the different stations and things like that.
That was awesome.
People hated each other. Commercial appeal. When I first came here in '95, we started our sports department at 24. You're right. There was, and then I got in the radio here at Sports 56, asking to have some of the CA people on. Couldn't get them on because there was competition. There was competition between all the media. Boy, I remember when Grader was at Channel 5 and battling him. But that's different now. It's everybody's kumbaya in everything, in the media, in the world.
Well, the competition, kind of glad you brought that up. The Daily Memphian, we're coming up on our first anniversary here next month.
Happy anniversary.
And, there is definitely renewed competition with the Daily Memphian and the Commercial Appeal, not just in sports, but in business, politics, anything both entities cover. And I think it probably has made the TV stations feel a little more competitive about everything too. But is it like it was, 20, 25 years ago? No, probably not. But there is more of it, and that's great for the consumer.
Yeah, the more the better.
The more the better.
It makes everything, because the competition makes everybody better.
Let me ask you this. You started out the segment by talking about the Chiefs, basically. Because I asked you about the excitement of Ole Miss Memphis, and you go, well, I'm a little bit more excited for the NFL. You come from a pro city.
Right.
I certainly come from a pro area, and so does Eli. But I've been here, and you've been here a long time, and so has Eli. I have learned to fall in love with the college sport over the pro sport. I love college football and college basketball.
You like that more than the NFL and the NBA?
I do. I have fallen in love with college sports and everything that goes with it, the pomp and circumstance and all that. As much as I love my Colts and my Phillies and all that, I love the college aspect. And I wonder if more people fall into my corner or your corner.
In the Memphis market?
Well, I'll use this market as the example, but a similar situation even around the country when you're a member of the media. Like Eli, I would imagine, but I don't want to speak for Eli, who's done a lot of college stuff. Are you still a pro guy or are you more college guy now?
Well, I'm an NFL guy because I have a favorite team.
But I do too. But
I don't have a team in college, so I enjoy the NFL more because I have a team I'm rooting for.
Right, but I mean my team's.
But I've always liked college basketball better than NBA basketball to begin with. So
see, my team is Maryland, but I'm so excited about Saturday. Not only to be a part of now the radio broadcast for the Tigers, but I'd be there no matter what.
Right.
But all the games around the country. And then this Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I'm excited about the NFL too, don't get me wrong. And I can't wait for basketball and the Grizzlies. But there's something about college football and college basketball that now I put them ahead of my pro sports connections.
And I also play in 4 fantasy football leagues. So therefore the NFL is more... I get more excited about the NFL because I've got the money invested in it.
Right.
Okay, that's a perfect segue. So I'm only in 2 fantasy football leagues, but I've started to do some studying, right? Even a couple of years ago, in some fantasy leagues, you would see somebody make the ill-advised move, but it wasn't that uncommon, to draft Tom Brady in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
You lay out of this, Eli, because you probably know the answer. I'll just ask Greg. Where do you think Tom Brady is ranked among quarterbacks? Just, they rank him 1 to 32 or whatever. Where do you think he's ranked among quarterbacks this year?
Well, I know it's probably low, but I'm going to go like 18.
You're right on it. 19. Yeah. Which kind of goes to the conversation you guys were having earlier about the numbers and what they mean, different eras, Marino, Luck, and all of that. Well, I mean, nobody's won more than Tom Brady, right? I mean, the biggest value for a winning quarterback. But in fantasy football, without, his all-pro tight end,
mm-hmm.
He's not going to, a whole bunch of people who aren't nearly as good, truthfully, as Tom Brady are going to put up much bigger numbers. I mean, think about it. In a 10-team league, Tom Brady, by that ranking, would be the next to worst backup somebody has.
Yeah.
Like, is that insane?
Yeah,
do you think there's still
fantasy football? Yeah, some of the rankings you do get are weird, but
you brought up with Gronk, and I got something here I want to bring up as well. But do you think there are still people in fantasy leagues that have the allegiance to their favorite player? So you said, there's still leagues where Brady's taken in the first round. Is it because they're a big Patriot fan and they want Brady, so they want to be rooting for Brady in 2 aspects? You know what I'm saying?
Fandom will make people make bad picks, and they will make other people make picks to try to hurt the person that is a fan of that team. So, like in one of my leagues,
because you can trade them later.
Right. In one of my leagues, it's now a 12-team league, and all 3 of my sons are in it. And one of my sons is a huge Chiefs fan like I am, and we're going to be drafting pretty much right next to each other. And so it's a snake draft. So when it comes back, the second time and all of that, he may snatch a Chief because he knows if he does it and it goes a couple of more picks, I will. And when it's going the other way, I may snatch one. But then there's also people that know that. And so right ahead of us, that means somebody's going to overreach for Patrick Mahomes, probably. Somebody might overreach for Travis Kelce or Tyreek Hill.
But are you taking a Chief because the Chiefs are your favorite team, or are you taking that Chief because you think he's the best player available at that point for the position that you want?
I will take best player available, but if it's close and it's like a choice between a Chief, and especially if it's somebody, that's like a Raider or a Charger, then I'm taking the Chief because I had Melvin Gordon a year or two, and he was great, but rooting for him to do well when he plays alongside Phillip Rivers hurt my heart.
Well, yeah, it's I use it more kind of as like, the tiebreaker thing. Like, okay, I don't like this guy, so I'll choose the other one, or I like this guy, so I'll choose him. There's also, you could get into the whole reverse psychology of like, well, I hate this team, but at least if I have this guy, then when they're doing well, I get something out of it.
I did that when I was playing fantasy football.
It could be like, I don't like, I'm fine. Like for me, like a Cowboys, like the Eagles or whatever. Like, well, I'll draft him because then at least if the Eagles are really good and he's really good, it's not a complete nightmare for me. At least I get something out of this whole deal.
Right. Yeah. Right. Sometimes I would do that like with a bet. It's like I'm going to take the team I think is going to beat the Phillies, and if I win money. But if I lose, at least the Phillies win a big game or something like that.
I should probably be betting against the Royals daily. And that I'm not is probably bad on me. But
somebody texted, they said, college football is head and shoulders above the NFL. The atmosphere is so much better, and the games are so much more fun. I think going to games, I would probably lean a little bit more towards college if it's teams that I don't have anything to do with. Like if I'm not going to a Cowboys game, if I'm going to just an NFL game or just a college game, I would lean more towards the college atmosphere.
Absolutely lean toward the college atmosphere. I think it's way more fun, but let's not confuse great football. There is great football in college football to some regards, right? There are great teams. There's great players. Don't compare. The NFL is the NFL. Even the bad teams, those players all on that roster are great players. That's the ultimate. So let's not mix that up.
It's like we've all done this. You stand on the sideline near the end of a college football game, let's say an SEC football game, and the first time you do it, you're shocked at the speed. Then you do it, at a Titans game or something, and you go, wow.
Right.
It's yet another speed. You know that, but until you're down there on ground level and there's a chance that those huge bodies may come flying at you, you can't appreciate it. And it's the same thing in the NBA.
Sure.
You sit courtside at college basketball games all year, and then even if you go watch two really bad NBA teams play from courtside, the speed is night and day.
Let me mention the Gronk quote that just came down because you brought up Brady and Gronk. Here's the quote. I want to be clear to my fans. I needed to recover. I was not in a good place. Football was bringing me down, and I didn't like it. I was losing that joy in life. So you have this retirement from Gronkowski earlier in the year where he was just burned out of football. And then you have Luck and his retirement, who was just burned out of having to continue to rehabilitate.
But Gronk was in the same thing. He was injured a lot.
Exactly.
That's what burns you out.
That's what I was bringing it back around to. This should not be a surprise to anybody, and I think we're going to continue to see it more and more relevant, too, with relevant players. We were talking yesterday about some of the relevant players, and you go back and you go, well, Gale Sayers left when he was early. He had knee problems. He only lasted, 7 years? But, Patrick Willis, not that many years ago, at the height of his career, stepped down from the 49ers. I think we're going to see a little bit more of this.
Yeah, well, in the old days, we can play the old, they were all tougher and meaner and all of that, and maybe there's some truth to that. But the truth of the matter is they didn't get paid anything like these guys get paid, and
Bingo.
they needed the money, and in some cases they were working, quote unquote, real jobs in the off season to supplement their income.
They didn't have the money, and they also didn't have the information and education about what could happen to you with CTE.
It was harder too now if you're anything close to a star player and you're semi-articulate, you've got a media job waiting for you somewhere if you want it. There weren't nearly as many jobs like that or opportunities for players in football, basketball, baseball, whatever it was. So when they were done, they were done. They kind of were going to become a citizen, so to say, again, when their careers are over. Now you can still have the limelight when you're done playing.
Well, the thing, now, especially if you were like a first-round pick, like if you're a first-round pick coming out and you have a good career at all, by the time you're 30, you'll have made more money than you could ever possibly use. Unless you're an idiot with it. Andrew Luck in 6 seasons has made $100 million. That's not even counting any endorsements and off the field. That's just his earnings from that. So by the time you're 6, 7, 8 years into your career, you should be set financially. And if you want to get out because you feel like I kind of like knowing who I am and not having knees and needing crutches, I could go ahead and do that now, and I don't need any more money.
Yeah, I've probably mentioned this before, but years ago, I had the opportunity to cover guys like Larry Zonka and Dick Butkus when they came to speak somewhere after, long after their careers. I mean, you needed a clock, a calendar almost to time them walking from one side of a room to the other. I mean, no joke. They were really that broken down from playing. And
yeah,
you don't have to put yourself through that now if you have the stomach to walk away and take whatever blame gets heaped on you because you do.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's no doubt that we're already seeing a bunch, but I think it'll kind of there'll be a lot of guys who there are some that just love the game of football and they want to play it as long as they possibly can because that's what they do. There's other guys who are playing football because they're really good at it and it is their way to make millions of dollars.
Yeah,
and so once they get financially set, will be like, I don't care enough about this game to continue to get beat up doing it. I'm good. Like Tom Brady just loves the game of football, and Tom Brady wants to play football because he can, and
he doesn't get beat up like some of the other guys do.
He's just a competitor that needs that outlet, and others don't. But there are other guys who are just like, I'm really good at it, and so I'll do it, but I don't need it.
All right, got about a minute or so. Ole Miss Memphis Saturday, thoughts?
I mean, I think Memphis should probably win by about 10. It's just
line went down from 6.5 to 5.5. A little bit more toward Ole Miss, but not much.
In the past, one of the givens was that even a lower level SEC opponent would for sure be better depth wise, but like Ole Miss's depth along the offensive line is really, really young. So, you're getting midway through the second half and it's, really, really hot. And, I don't know. And plus you've got a quarterback making his first start. He got, a little taste last year because of the 4-game rule, but combination of that depth and a totally inexperienced quarterback, unless Memphis just, loses turnovers 4-1, I don't see how they lose.
It's interesting. We haven't really discussed, and we will as this week goes on. We got Mike Norvell on Thursday. That point that you made, we talked about Corral, but we haven't talked about the flip side, that Brady White, albeit not this deep threat guy who's going to throw it 70 yards on a rope, is a really good quarterback as far as orchestrating his offense, running his team, very cerebral. We haven't even brought it up.
Well, that's what I was down at Ole Miss yesterday, and that is exactly what Matt Luke and the defensive coordinator, Mike McIntyre, were saying, is that he is, probably at his best at the line of scrimmage and making the decisions, on the RPOs and, seeing what it, how to adjust the blocking scheme or, whatever he needs to do. And, that he's accurate. And, Mike Norvell gives you, a lot to consider within what Memphis does, right? And, I was, looking at Ole Miss's top back, Scotty Phillips. I think he only had like 10 catches out of the backfield last year. Well, Memphis is going to be doing a lot of that.
Right.
So there's very little need for Brady White to throw the ball down the field a ton Saturday. I just don't think there's a whole lot of need for it.
Was there any kind of atmosphere sense among the coaches and players when you were down there yesterday at the luncheon about this game, the importance, anything? Did you get any kind of feel either way?
I mean, I guess if there was anything close to a narrative, it was just that, like, this is our first chance to test drive the new offense and the new defense.
Mm-hmm.
And if anything, it might help to have an opponent that, gets our players' attention instead of some small directional school that you're going to be favored to beat. But there didn't seem to be undue excitement or undue worry, because I think they've got a handle on the idea that whatever they ultimately turn out to be, it's going to take them a few games to get there.
All right, fair enough. Thank you, Don. Appreciate it, Don Wade, Daily Memphian. Read all his great stories at the Daily Memphian and follow him on Twitter at DWadeMEN. When we come back, our final half hour, we got 2.5 questions. Love to hear from you on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255. First Bank text line at 67129 or message us at Sports56 WHBQ on Facebook, Periscope, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Ladies and gentlemen, grab a seat for Happy Hour. Johnny Radio's Happy Hour from 1 to 3 on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
If you've always thought, hey, I'd look pretty good in a Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus thinks so, too. Lexus is offering you the Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Great offers on all 2019 models and special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2019 flagship LS500. Hey, you look pretty good there. Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event at Lexus of Memphis. Experience amazing.
Hi friends, I'm Shane Stanford from Christ Church Memphis. Here at Christ Church, we believe in Memphis and we believe in you. And every Sunday at 11 o'clock, we want to invite you to come hear a biblically based, Christ-centered message that talks about God's love for you and His guidance in your life. And also to hear an interview by amazing people who are doing incredible things for our city and our community. So don't miss us, 11 o'clock, right here on this station, every Sunday morning. I'm Shane Stanford. Remember, you matter.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's largest mortgage lender. Let's talk credit card debt for a minute. If you feel you're carrying too much of it, you're not alone. The average household in the U.S. carries over $8,000 in credit card debt. Ready for some good news? With a cash-out refinance from Quicken Loans, you can quickly and easily put some of the equity in your home to good use by paying off a lot of that high-interest credit card debt. A great way to take cash out is with our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 4.125%, APR 4.22%. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN to learn how taking cash out with a 30-year fixed mortgage might be the right solution for you. And for a record 9 years in a row, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Rates subject to change. Pay 0.88% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. License in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Gun enthusiasts in the Mid-South know all about guns and ammo at 3615 Summer and 577 Goodman Road, Suite 4 at the corner of Goodman and Elmore in South Haven, because they carry the largest selection of both guns and ammo in the area. They are authorized dealers of Colt, Benelli, CZ, Smith & Wesson, Glock, Ruger, Sig Sauer, Vergara, and a lot more. If you or someone you know is looking for something for self-defense, competition, hunting, or just something that goes boom, then get to Guns and Ammo, 3615 Summer in Memphis and 577 Goodman Road, Suite 4 at the corner of Goodman and Elmore in South Haven.
Your Memphis Tigers football team opens the 2019 season against regional rival Ole Miss Saturday, August 31st. And tickets are on sale now, starting at $55 each. Get your tickets today by visiting GoTigersGo.com or by calling 901-678-2331. Or Tiger fans can still grab a 3-game package or a season ticket. College football is finally back. Memphis versus Ole Miss, Saturday, August 31st at 11 a.m. at Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium. Sponsored by FedEx and ABC Local 24.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Don't forget tomorrow, Sigmund Bloom at noon to answer all your NFL fantasy football questions. Jerry Palm will join us tomorrow, dinner and a movie. Possible surprise guest or two.
So, Austin, was it the Tiger had knee surgery? Is that what you just retweeted?
Yeah, he had a procedure on his knee. I just saw that. He announced it, but he's expected to make a full recovery.
Tiger Woods?
Orthoscopic surgery, I believe.
Well, that would mean, though, at the very least, that he's not going to pick himself for the President's Cup. I would assume the next amount of that.
Yeah, he is next committed to play October 24th through 27th in Japan at a Zozo Championship, I believe is what it's called.
Zozo.
That's probably
legendary tournament there.
That's probably the best way to get out of having
– because he probably did Zozo Circus. Now it's the Zozo tournament.
He probably wanted to pick himself, but probably knew he didn't deserve it. And so he's, what the hell, let me go get my knee taken care of. So hopefully he'll be all right for next year's WGC after the great showing the first time around at the WGC.
Well, we know if he's not, Greg, it's going to be his back or his knee. It's going to be one of those two.
By the way, speaking of the WGC FedEx St. Jude Invitational, our champion Brooks Koepka, who did not win the Tour Championship, did not win the FedEx Cup, is still the Player of the Year. He edges Rory McIlroy for the PGA of America Player of the Year award. Second year in a row that Brooks Koepka has won this award. Koepka and McIlroy are the only three-time winners this year on the PGA Tour. Do you like the choice of Koepka, or would you rather go McIlroy?
Easiest choice there was. He finished in the top 3 in like every major, or whatever. I mean, his major record alone won that.
FedEx Cup champion Rory McIlroy.
And he's really rich because of that.
Really, really rich. Really rich.
But,
check this out.
What he did in what did he go? Second, first, second, and then.
The hell are you talking about?
Did he finish second at the Masters?
Koepka in the majors. Yeah, he tied for second in the Masters.
Second in the Masters, first at the Open, right? He won the
PGA.
Open. PGA, that's right.
Gary Woodland won the
second
the
at the Open.
Yeah, he was close.
Or
and then
was it second?
The U.S. Open,
the British,
because he was going for 3 in a row. I know he didn't win the U.S. Open.
What did he do at the British? Did he? I can't remember where he finished British, but no, yeah, he was silly good in the majors.
Well, Rory won the. Did he win also the Players Championship? He did, right? He bookended the year. He won the Players Championship early, and then he won the Tour Championship,
he was great early.
And then he won the FedEx Cup. That's not too shabby. This is not too shabby either. The Redbirds have announced, by the way, their home schedule is done. They have, I think it's 8 more games to go. Somehow they're 5 games out of the division lead. It would be the most miraculous comeback if they were to win a 3rd straight division title. Of course, they are the 2-time defending PCL champions.
He was the 4th Open championship, by the way.
Okay. But Craig Unger, the president, announcing that on Tuesday, September 7th, and we already knew that that AutoZone Park and the Redbirds would be the hosts of the AAA National Championship game. But they have announced today that all fans will receive a free order of barbecue nachos and a free soda or bottled water as part of the Nacho Average Tuesday, presented by Dave & Buster's. How about that? I'm double checking to make sure it's not the first 1,000 or 2,000. I don't see that anywhere. So I think it's all the fans. Now, the Redbirds are the reigning AAA national champions after being the runner-up in 2017. But if they somehow got to the playoffs, it would be an incredible comeback. They were once, I think, 21 or 22 games under 500. They're now 2 games under 500. They have a doubleheader today. I think it's in New Orleans after getting rained out yesterday. And the team that's leading the division is Iowa, your iCubs. They got 4 to end with Iowa, but they would need some help. They would have to take care of business in New Orleans, and then it could be a showdown at Iowa in those final 4. But anyway, interesting, a great month for the Redbirds and a very interesting AAA championship with free nachos.
Time now for 2.5 questions.
Who, what, where, when, how, and why? Questions start with these. Step right up and answer all my questions, if you please.
I'm just a normal kid, like you, except that I ask questions. And because I'm brave enough to ask questions, I come under scrutiny.
Asking all them questions, why you asking all them questions?
Now here is a question for you.
What does the fox say?
All right, question number 1. Jacoby Brissett, Chad Kelly, other. Tell me how many each starts for the Colts this year.
Well, since I already went out on the line and said that Chad Kelly would be the starter by the end of the year, I will stick with that. So I'll go Jacoby Brissett will start 9 games.
Okay.
Chad Kelly will start 7. They will not make the playoffs.
So no other, nobody else, just those 2 guys.
That's it. That's it. No Andrew Luck return. No Peyton Manning return.
No trade.
And you know what? Colts could make the playoffs, but I'm going regular season, 9-7, no trades, no free agent acquisitions, no pickups off the waiver wire. I'm sticking with those guys. Now, if Brissett goes down, obviously with an injury, then all bets are off.
So, Austin, if I gave you over-under of half of a quarterback other than Chad Kelly or Jacoby Brissett starting a game this year for the Colts, would you go over or under?
Over under half as in the percentage?
No, a half.
A half
of a game. So either they start one to go over or they start none to go under.
I'd say over. I think another quarterback will be in there. But I do think Chad will start by halfway through the season at the latest.
All right. Tell me the percentage. Here we're going to go percentage. The percentage that each of these people ever plays in an NFL game again.
Okay.
Andrew Luck.
0%. Zero. Absolutely zero. 0%.
I don't know if I can go 0, but I'm not going to put it extremely high. I think I'd go with like 30%.
30% chance? You'd lose your money. There's no way. 30% chance. Andrew Luck is done, ladies and gentlemen. Done.
Gronk,
I'll go 25%.
60.
I think I might be with you. I think
that
Gronk.
high?
I think Gronk.
After what he just said?
I think Gronk's going to play again.
Well, because he was saying I wasn't right. It was taking away my joy. Now he's into that, trying to be a proponent for that medical marijuana. I think he's kind of setting himself up to come back.
And the thing too, like he could do it like. It might, like at the end of this year, he's feeling good, and there's like the last 2 games of the year in the playoffs. Like, he doesn't play. I don't think he wants to play a full season, but I could see him just coming back for a playoff run to try and get another Super Bowl.
I'm not saying you guys are outlandish with your 60%, but here's the way I'm looking at it. 25% is 1 out of 4 chances. That's still fairly high for a guy who's announced he's retired from the game. You guys are going over 50%. So you think there's a better chance than not that he comes back, and I'm not so sure I want to go there.
I just think he's setting himself up to come back.
All right.
I think.
Well, he's smoking that weed, man. He ain't gonna be passing drug tests.
If he has a prescription for it, he'll have that loophole.
What's his prescription?
I'm just saying if he has one.
He's got glaucoma.
I think I mean, I might even go high. I think Gronk absolutely plays again. Like, I think he does. I don't think there's any.
You're saying 100%.
Like, I mean, I wouldn't go 100, but I would say, because he's Gronk and who knows what could happen with Gronk. But I think 60 would be the lowest I would go.
See, here's the thing with Gronk. Gronk is going to have a million opportunities to do all kinds of fun things. And as he enjoys life with is it his wife now or just girlfriend? The model that he's with. I mean, he's going to enjoy TV. He's going to be in movies. I guarantee you he is just going to enjoy life so much he's got away from football. And if you look at him, you can tell he's not as big. So Gronk, I think it's highly unlikely, and I'm going 25, and I think that might be a tad high. All right.
Dez Bryant.
What's his physical status right now? Is he healthy?
What's he doing right now?
Nothing.
He's healthy.
I wonder if he's still in.
He turned down $30 million from Baltimore.
Is he healthy?
He's got videos of him running around doing things.
And other videos. No, 75%.
Ooh. Going really high on Dez.
75%.
What?
He's been. What was his last season? Has it been 2 years he's been out now, or just a one?
Last year, the full season that he owned, where he wasn't signed, and he was signed with New Orleans, got injured, so he didn't play at all last year.
He could look at his bank account and go, oh, maybe I should come in there. 75%. He's still a receiver that's, and receivers are needed. Still can catch the ball. If you're telling me he's healthy, and again, I'm relying on you for that information. If he's healthy, I think he could be picked up by a team this year that needs help with the receiver. 75%.
I'm going to give him 30, and that's just because Dez Bryant is basically going to try to control who he plays for, and eventually, I mean, if the wrong team, if indeed he turned down $30 million from the Ravens, then he's turning down money because he don't want to play for that team.
Right, but you're either going to play or not play. So I think that
he said his mind wasn't right. That's why with
we
the
all
Ravens.
do that.
Has he visited with Gronk for the medical marijuana? Maybe,
but he said he at one point on Twitter said that he didn't want to play anymore, like mentally.
Well, okay, that changed it. I didn't know he said that.
But he's also then changed.
Yeah, he has said so many different things. You can't really.
I'd
still give him 30.
The reason I wouldn't go 75% is last year, before he suffered the major injury, nobody was picking him up. A year younger without a major injury, nobody picked him up until the Saints finally at the end.
Because his demands, what he wants, how much money he thinks he's worth. Now it's going to start to go, you know what? the bank account's starting to dwindle a little bit. I think I could take a little bit less. But now you throw that in there, it scares me. I'm dropping it now. If he really said that he's not mentally ready to go, then I'm going to lower it. I'm going to go down to about 33%.
Still a little higher than me. I'm sticking with 30.
I'm going to go 33%.
I would put Gronk definitely higher than Dez.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Colin Kaepernick.
10.
I'll go 5.
I don't think there's. I don't know if I want to go all the way to 0. But
Right.
I don't think there's a good chance.
Yeah, I'm not. I think there's more obviously by my percentages, a better chance that Colin Kaepernick will play than Andrew Luck. So 5%, I'll go with Kaepernick, but I think that's highly unlikely that he'll play. But I'm not going 0. Luck, I'm going 0.
Okay. All right. Rank these games based on the chances of a major upset. It's the top 5 teams coming into this week. So Clemson versus Georgia Tech, Alabama versus Duke, Georgia versus Vanderbilt, Oklahoma against Houston, and Ohio State against Florida Atlantic. Rank them based on chance of the shocker.
Wow. Oh, chance of the shocker. I will go Houston to beat Oklahoma. I'm not predicting it, ladies and gentlemen, but that would be my number 1. Very low on all these chances, but that's number 1. Number 2, I'm going to go Vanderbilt over Georgia. Number 3, I'll go Duke over Alabama. 4,
wow.
4, I'll go, well, Duke's better than Georgia Tech, and that's the way I'm looking at that. But 4, I would go Florida Atlantic over Ohio State, only because of the, Justin Fields' first year with the Buckeyes. And then 5, I'd go Georgia Tech over Clemson.
So you think
are we ranking these from like 1 is most chance to be upset to 5? Okay.
Yes.
So you think Duke has a better chance of beating Alabama than Florida Atlantic does to beat Ohio State?
Yes, because Duke is actually a legitimate team. I know they just lost their quarterback to the NFL.
I have Bama as my least upset possibility.
Well, I don't think
they do not play. They play so well in those opening games. I mean, they destroyed USC a couple years ago.
I don't think any of these are happening.
I agree with you. I'm just saying. I think my number 1 would be Houston over Oklahoma.
Dude,
that's the most
Florida Atlantic. I don't care because Lane Kiffin's their coach. They're not good. And yet I gave them the 4th spot. Georgia Tech is not. Georgia Tech's horrible. They're not beating Clemson. None of these are happening. But the best chance is Houston, certainly. Because you got De'Aaron King, you got Holgerson, he's a good offensive mind. Even though I don't think that's happening, I think it's the best chance. Then I go with Vandy. Because Vandy's an SEC team, although not a good one. Georgia should throttle them, but you never know.
Well, those are the 2 smallest lines. I mean, Georgia's the smallest line.
I haven't even looked at the lines. This is just off the top of my head. So I'm going those. But again, Duke is actually a legitimate football program the last few years.
Florida, I don't know, man. They don't have that future Hall of Famer in Daniel Jones this year.
Well, that's what I just said. I said they don't have their quarterback anymore. But David Cutcliffe is a good coach. They're going to get throttled. But still, I put Duke ahead. Florida Atlantic is not going to Columbus and beating Ohio State, but I put them 4th because it is Justin Fields. It's his first game with the Buckeyes. Could be some nerves there. And then Tech is awful. Clemson's clobbering those guys.
Well, could you imagine that start really to Ryan Day's career without Urban Meyer in the picture for the first time, and he loses to Florida Atlantic?
Oh gosh,
that would not be good. I've got a bonus question that I'm going to ask after the break. For the break, though, I do want to tell you about Mid-South Ag Equipment, folks, for all your equipment needs. The Case IH Farmall series of tractors, they've got all the different sizes and models that you would need for whatever that task is that you need. They also, of course, have the Bush Hog cutters, but the Bush Hog zero-turn lawn mowers that they have added at Mid-South Ag Equipment. Go by and check them out. They're just south of Collierville on Goodman Road, just a half a mile west of the Goodman Road exit off of I-269, making it easier than ever to go see the folks at Mid-South Ag Equipment and see all the different equipment they have, whether it be new or pre-owned, whether you're looking to get service on your current equipment, they can take care of you at Mid-South Ag. Again, just south of Collierville on Goodman Road, 662-890-3141, the phone number for Mid-South Ag Equipment.
All right, we'll take a break, come back with our final segment. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Search Sports 56 on Facebook and give us a like. And follow us on Twitter at Sports 56 WHBQ.
You'll see the dedication in every single step. You'll see it in the smiles when smiles are hard to get. You'll see it in the little things that add up to success. The caring and passion are the things that we love best.
Wolf Chase Limb Brace is your Mid-South provider for orthotics and prosthetics. They are an ABC-accredited facility, and their practitioners are ABC certified. At Wolf Chase Limb Brace, their services include artificial limbs, legs and arms, braces of all kinds, and custom molded inserts. You can call them today at 901-507-7821 for their location on Highway 64 in between Germantown Parkway and Appling Road, or visit them at their new location in Jackson, Tennessee. That number is 731-660-5900, or visit them on the web at wolfchaselimbembrace.com.
Our life to yours. Wolf Chase Limb and Brace.
Hi, folks. Rob Walker, Infinity of Memphis, and we've got a new Infinity crossover vehicle that has raised the standard of comparison to a new level. Imagine having both sports car performance and eco-friendly efficiency on demand, working together to empower every driving experience. The result of 20 years of engineering, QX50's award-winning variable compression turbo engine is the world's only engine of its kind. Like two engines in one, it delivers a combination of power and efficiency that is truly in a category all its own, and only Infinity has it. You'll never sacrifice performance for the sake of efficiency again. And QX50 MSRP starts at only $36,550, which is less than its Acura, Audi, and Mercedes competitors. Add to that QX50's award-winning sumptuous interior, and you have the best combination of performance and comfort in the mid-size crossover segment.
MSRP excludes destination charge, tax, title, license, and options. Infinity of Memphis or online at infinityofmemphis.com.
Duncan Williams Investment Bankers presents Toby Keith at Live at the Garden this Saturday, August 31st at the beautiful Memphis Botanic Garden.
How do you like me now?
One night, Toby Keith, all the hits.
That was 1,452 beers ago.
With opening act High Valley. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. For more information, visit liveatthegarden.com. Doors open at 6:30. Show starts at 8:30. Also presented by FedEx, True Green, Infinity of Memphis, Regions Bank, Radiance, Pro Show, Mahaffey Tent, and PDR. That's Toby Keith at Live at the Garden this Saturday, August 31st at the Botanic Garden.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx.
Here once again
are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
So here's the bonus question. When the Andrew Luck news came down, O.J. Simpson took to Twitter, angry that he had just drafted Andrew Luck. So he was mad that Andrew couldn't have let him know an hour earlier. So the question is this. Could you be in a fantasy football league with O.J. Simpson?
I thought you were going to say, should the Juice get a repick? Since he lost out Andrew Luck.
As in, would you be fearful if you beat him in the
I mean, just, could you feel comfortable whatever. Being in a fantasy football league with O.J. Simpson.
Would I want to be in a fantasy football league? No. Would I feel comfortable? Sure. What was he going to come and kill me if I beat him? No. I'm not worried about any of that. And I don't like morally.
It's more of a moral question.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to kill you over fantasy football. I don't know. I mean, he has.
I don't know.
Killed in the past. I don't know. But would you want to be in a fantasy football league with somebody like O.J. Simpson?
I'm sure you've probably been in some things before that maybe one of the participants had a little shady upbringing or career or whatever, but didn't go as far as what we,
I don't think I've
OJ.
ever been in a fantasy league with somebody who has murdered a couple of people. I don't believe so.
Alleged murderer.
I feel like it's a matter of perception, I guess. Like, what
Clear.
are other people going to think about you, like hanging out with him, being buddies with him, and stuff like that?
But that's the whole thing. You're not talking about hanging out. You're not talking about being buddies. How about this big national fantasy football league?
Well,
had a bunch of people.
I mean, it's being in a fantasy league. It means you're
being a buddy.
Because OJ's got a pretty small group. I mean, so like.
Oh no,
I
don't want
like you're a bunch of anonymous people. It's
okay.
being a league with OJ Simpson.
Well, you know how they have FanDuel and all that crap. I thought you meant that kind
That's
of
not
thing.
a fantasy football league.
Well, whatever, Eli. No, I wouldn't want to hang out with O.J. Simpson, if you want to put it that way. No, I would. Am I worried about the reaction from other people? No, I couldn't give a crap about them. I just wouldn't do it from my standpoint. I could be in a league where he, again, was in it and it was some distance thing and all that. It wouldn't bother me. But, no, if I had to be friends and hang out with them and no, I wouldn't want to be in it.
I don't know. I don't know if I could. I mean, it'd be very interesting for me. I don't know if I'd want to hang out with him. I don't know if that would be a good.
Do you follow him on Twitter?
I do follow him on Twitter.
I don't.
I think it's hilarious watching his videos.
You know, I finally gave in the other day.
I watch it. I follow him for pure amusement purposes.
I've had people because I felt like when he first got on Twitter, I was like, I can't. I just feel there's something not right about following O.J. Simpson on Twitter. And then I've had a bunch of people tell me, like, you got it. It's just hilarious. Like, these videos he posts is just funny. Because
his fantasy draft recap after Andrew Luck was funnier than the one where he's mad at Andrew Luck.
The other day when the Andrew Luck thing happened is I finally said, you know what? I'm going to follow O.J. Simpson on Twitter. And by golly, if you don't like me because of it, that's your problem.
See, I wouldn't have an issue with following O.J. Simpson if I think he's a good follow, because I think people would be, like, if people knew I was following, like, oh, look, why are you following this guy? He was a murderer. You know?
I mean, technically speaking, he was acquitted. So, I mean,
I know.
I'm not going to go there.
I know. But what I'm saying is I don't care about what people think about it. Like, my favorite account, as you know, is Ricky Cobb, Super 70 Sports. He's been on the show a couple of times. It was hilarious the other day. Somebody who follows him, and he's got a ton of followers. Somebody tweets back and goes, you know, you have a really funny site and everything like that, but maybe if you can, like, not use the language you use. And he told him to, like, basically F off. It's like, that's the whole point of his thing. Sometimes you use salty language. If you are offended by it, don't follow the guy. If you're offended by R-rated movies, don't watch R-rated movies. Don't complain about them. You have the choice to do whatever the hell you want. Eli just asked me my choice if I wanted to be in a league with him. No, I wouldn't want to be in a league with him where I'm dealing with the guy. Like, day to day, I'm hanging out with him. We're together doing the draft. No, I wouldn't want to be like that. But do I have an issue with him if he's in some league that I was in and it's like, oh, OJ's in the league? And no, I take his money just like I take everybody else's money. I wouldn't care. And I wouldn't care.
The confidence from Greg.
No, I meant
take all their money.
No, I meant if that was the case, and I wouldn't have any problems with how people would react to that.
What if OJ refuses to pay? You willing to just go up to OJ and say, "Give me my money"?
I'd slice him up, baby. I'd slice that jugular. No, I'm kidding.
Somebody texted and said he'll break into your house and steal your prize.
He could. No, the better question. Forget fantasy.
Don't keep it in a hotel room.
Would you want to hang out with OJ? And the answer would be no. I wouldn't want to hang out with OJ. There's a lot of other people around.
You don't play fantasy football, so you don't understand really what I'm saying. But
I used to. I understand the camaraderie and all that, but I'm saying I'm just talking about forget about fantasy football. Like if I had a choice to be a guy to hang with OJ or not, no, I don't want to.
Time now for one final thing.
Before Greg and Eli get out of here for the day, they each have one final thing they think you should know to make it through the rest of your day. So here are Greg and Eli with one final thing.
Kurt Heelan, friend of the show with NBCSports.com, has put a list together of his 50 best players in 5 years. So think about that for a second. The 50 best NBA players 5 years from now. And on that list, Ja Morant. And I don't know which number he was, but he was like about a week ago, I think. He came down. I could look it up, but it takes too long. The guy I want to talk about today is Jaren Jackson Jr. He has Jaren Jackson Jr. number 16. So two of the Grizzlies that I know of in the top 50 for the 50 greatest 5 years from now. Here's what he had to say about Jaren Jackson Jr. This kid has Chris Bosh written all over him, and he could be even better. It feels odd to call him kid when his game screams wildly veteran. Jackson Jr. is still just 19, but he already can stretch the floor and block shots like a seasoned big. There's a reason why Kevin Garnett is one of his top statistical comps, but I like the Bosch parallel because of how he came into the league in a similar vein. Drafted number 4 overall in a stacked draft with Luka Doncic, Trae Young, DeAndre Ayton, and Marvin Bagley. It's easy to overlook Jackson Jr.'s production, especially playing in a small market like Memphis. But Jackson's game is tailor-made for the pace and space era. He goes on, they said, with Ja Morant in town, this could be the most promising tandem in the NBA. Jackson Jr. is so young that he still wouldn't be in his 30s if we look 10 years down the line instead of 5. Get on board now.
Well, the rough offseason for DeMarcus Cousins getting worse. This one very much by his own doing, apparently.
Wait, didn't he just get married?
Yes. That's part of the. That's the wedding is the issue here. TMZ has released audio from a phone call between allegedly DeMarcus Cousins and his ex-girlfriend Christy West. She says that he threatened to kill her when she refused to let their 7-year-old son attend his wedding to Morgan Lang last week. In the audio, a person speaking with West says, "I'm going to ask you this one more time before I take it to another level. Can I have my son here, please?" When West says no, the other person responds, "I'm going to make sure I put a bullet in your effing head." West says the voice is Cousins. She has submitted the audio of the call to the Mobile Police Department in Mobile, Alabama. And again, TMZ has released the audio of the call as they've gotten their hands on it.
Damn.
So,
Boogie, oogie, oogie. Would you play in a fantasy football league with Boogie Cousins?
If that is indeed Boogie, never mind the injuries. His career, I think, is probably over in the NBA.
Wow.
Not a good start to the married life there.
See, OJ may stab you, but Boogie's going to put a bullet in your brain. I don't know if you want to beat him in fantasy football.
I would rather play in a fantasy league with OJ than with Boogie.
No.
Our thanks to Nick Suss and Don Wade for joining us on the program today. We're back tomorrow starting at 10. Again, Sigmund Bloom will answer all your fantasy football questions. Jerry Palm will join us as well. That's 10 to 1 tomorrow for midday. Stay tuned. Johnny Radio's Happy Hour is coming up next. For Austin and Eli, I'm Greg. Have a great day, everybody.
But buddy, let me tell